And now, introducing a man whose bracket is as busted as your girlfriend's face, but it's all right because she treats you real respectable like. It's Clark Madness. He is Glenn Clark.
That was rough. What's going on? Good morning. Hi, I'm Glenn. It's Glenn Clark Radio. He's Paul. Lil'Jordan's here. It's early. I don't know who the hell's idea that was. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. Jordan, looking at you.
He's super upset because you did it the day after St. Patty's Day.
I know. He didn't want that. Yeah, I got to head to Live Casino and Hotel in the Fanduel Sportsbook. I got to be there by noon, so I had to shuffle the show today. So appreciate you guys being with us a little bit earlier this morning. And if you're saying I wasn't with you because I didn't know, well, there's shame on you because we told you plenty of times that we were going to do 9 to 11 today. So that's kind of on you. But the show is still available in the same ways later on in the day. So hopefully you found us no matter what. A lot to do on the program today. Coming up a little bit later on this hour, it's back, the return of the Jon Proctor Quiz. And for the first time, we're going to pop Paul's cherry today when it comes to, hey, man, big day. Big day.
Wow, I'm excited.
Big day.
Be gentle.
Yeah, well, I'm not normally.
Poor Mrs. Clark.
No. She, never mind. Anyway, we're going to do
doing?
We're going to do the Jon Proctor Quiz a little bit later on this hour. There are some stories I'd like to tell, but I'll save them for my grandkids when I'm on my deathbed.
Jesus.
They'll love to hear about them. Also, later on this morning, speaking of being at the Fanduel Sportsbook, Rodney Elliott's going to join us again, of course, the former Terps and Dunbar star. He's going to be hanging out with me from noon to 4 in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. We got great giveaways. It is the best place to watch all of the action. First 2 bets I'm making today. I'm making. You already know one of them if you have been checking out Live Casino and Hotel's social media. You know that as soon as I walk in, I'm betting on Yale to cover. It's a little bit because we got to know Jalen Gabadon, and he's a great kid, but it's way more because I think Purdue, first of all, we see the Big Ten struggling again in the NCAA tournament. In fact, I might bet against all of the Big Ten teams because I think I'm going to bet against Michigan State, and I think I'm going to bet against Ohio State today too. Just might be a clean sweep for me in terms of betting against Big Ten teams in the NCAA tournament. But I'm betting Yale. I'm not betting Yale to win outright. I'm betting Yale to cover. I'm going to bet Loyola Chicago to win outright, and I think I might parlay the first 4 games of the day. This is getting a little bit dangerous for me. I did not have a great day. I had a great day tennis betting, so I didn't lose any money yesterday on my basketball betting, but I would have if I didn't have a great day tennis betting. I had a lovely, lovely tennis betting day. I think I'm going to parlay Loyola to win outright, Auburn to cover, Texas Tech to cover, both of those numbers being 15.5, and Yale to cover plus 17. I'm going to parlay those 4 things, and let's dance, baby. Let's just see what happens. Let's see how it all plays out and have some fun in the FanDuel Sportsbook. Special hours all weekend long. They're open right now. What if they got us on the big screen? Hi, Live Casino and Hotel. I don't know. I have no idea if they got us on the big screen or not. The FanDuel Sportsbook. They're open 9 a.m. today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and open until midnight all 3 days. Plus, everyone who is a Live Rewards member that makes a $50 bet on an NCAA tournament game is registered, or can register, because you got to do it yourself. They're not going to do it for you, but you can register to win a $500 bracket bonus. You take the little code that's on your bet slip, you pop it in online, and you are registered to win this $500 bracket bonus. I'm thinking my $50 game today, I might go ahead and, because you want it to be a safe one, you bet $50 on something. I'll make my $50 bet today. I really like Texas Tech. I'll make a Texas Tech covering 15.5 against Montana State today as my $50 bet that'll get me registered for my bracket bonus because I am a Live Rewards member. It's as simple as that. Live Casino and Hotel in the FanDuel Sportsbook. We will see you there. You love how I sound? I got that Macy Gray thing going on? Yeah. I try to say goodbye and I choke.
Literally.
Try to walk away and I stumble. Though I try to hide it, it's clear. My world crumbles when you are not here. What do you know about Macy Gray, Lil'Jordan? Get on that. Get on that. Macy
She
Gray
was in the first Spider-Man in 2002.
She was very much. I could almost sing the song. Fantasy, you and me. I love the Spider-Man soundtrack with the song that Andrew Stecca's got to come in here and sing one day.
Hero can save us.
One. That's the one. So we'll anyway, I don't know. Sorry. I've got the seasonal allergies are in full force. Lil'Jordan just brought me some water so I can take a Claritin. You know, you're only supposed to take one a day. I think I'm going to be doing a little bit more than that because I couldn't sleep last night because I thought I was going to die. I thought that because you got hammered. It was St. Patrick's Day. You're a kid. I understand. I understand. You had a long night. I did not do that.
Bone to pick with you, Glenn.
That's a you problem.
Yeah.
That's not a me problem today. My problem is I need some Claritin. The boys and I sat around and watched some. Then I say the boys, I mean my two sons and I sat around and watched basketball last night. They were very nervous because they were like, "What is Gonzaga gonna lose?" Then they were like, "And what's a Gonzaga?" I was only really concerned. So the only real issue that I had. Oh, God, I sound good. Oh, do I ever sound good? I sound like $1,000,000. The only real issue that I was because I don't actually I didn't even have Kentucky going all that far. I had them. No, that's the first Elite Eight team I lost was Kentucky. But my Final Four is intact, whereas some people had Iowa in their Final Four. A lot of people had Kentucky in their Final Four. I was very nervous about UCLA later on in the evening. Extraordinarily nervous about them against Akron, but thankfully they held on for that. And so all is good. Updating after one day of action, the leader in our bracket contest, getting 14 of 16 first-round games correct. And considering how the day went, that's remarkable. My friend Susan Johnson, who is a listener, is in first place, having got 14 of 16 correct. I don't believe... nope, that's not. Oh, God. Jon Proctor lost his national champion. Oh, and the last person the guy that got in to fill up the contest, Tim Russell, lost his. They both had Iowa winning the national title. That's out. Nick Kelly had Kentucky winning the national title, and so that's not good either. I went 11 of 16 on day one, but have my whole Final Four intact, so I feel good about that. Not that anybody cares about your bracket, of course. Anyway, so that's the update on our bracket contest, which, again, is going to pay $500 to the winner, $250 to second place. Now on to the Ravens. What a day. As the Ravens are introducing their two most recent signees, Marcus Williams and Morgan Moses, questions start coming in. Hey, kind of weird. You were able to announce signings last night, and we thought you made a third. You haven't announced it.
They did. You didn't hear about good old Michael Pierce?
No, thank you. We'll get there. Have we heard about him? He's scheduled to join the show, Jordan. Maybe settle down over there. All right?
Just throwing wrenches and spokes over there.
Jordan had about 1,000 green beers last evening, and it's just feeling froggy this morning. And
you're sounding froggy.
I'm sounding quite froggy. Very.
Great
By the way,
show.
the good news for me, all I got to do this weekend is this show, a 4-hour appearance, and call 3 lacrosse games. Really, nothing going on. Don't need my voice for any of it. God. Anybody have any honey tea sitting around? Because it's going to be a long weekend.
You can just pull an Aaron in the office and boil up some Gatorade.
You know what? Not a bad idea. I like where your head's at. Oh boy, this actually is quite concerning. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about how this is going to go.
You'll pull it together.
You say that when your voice, there's nothing you could do about it. Now, it's not like I'm testing my voice. It's that because I'm stressed, I'm forced to push my vocal cords a little bit more, and that could become problematic. Anyway, the point of all of this is that Eric DeCosta is like, well, yeah, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Marcus Williams and Morgan Moses. That's what we're here to talk about. And everybody's sort of like, well, yeah, we're right, but you're Eric DeCosta, so we kind of have some other questions because you didn't announce the other guy that we all reported signed here. And so what's all that about? Exactly. What's all that about? And as it turns out, what all that's about is not gonna work here anymore, is what it is. Zadarius Smith I apparently realized, hey, all the other edge rushers are signing for way more than I agreed to. Maybe I shouldn't sign. That, of course, being Zadarius Smith's prerogative. And, you wish him well. I like Zadarius Smith as a person, so I'm bummed out about it because it would have been neat to have him back here in Baltimore, but so it is. I'm also bummed out about it because we sat here yesterday and talked about how the Ravens needed that help up front, and that was going to go a long way, and they didn't get it. So there's that. Now,
what's up with his agent even agreeing to sign that deal in the first place?
Well, I mean, who knows? It could very well be that Zadarius Smith was super excited about signing in Baltimore and sort of said, what. There were also a couple of deals like Chandler Jones that were agreed to afterwards that maybe impacted. Like they were like, "Whoa, wait a second, this number is not good." And there's been some thought that perhaps he received some heat because of it from others within the union that said, "Dude, you're hurting us. Like, look at what you're doing to the market." No, that doesn't work. And I don't know all the details, and I didn't bother. And again, somebody's gonna be mad at me because I'm not really doing. I try to let reporters do that work, and then I do my thing. But sure, I guess I could have poked around a little bit more. I mean, we did reach out to Zadarius Smith. We didn't hear back, so for what it's worth. I'm in a weird place. I'm in a weird place because I like Michael Pierce. Michael Pierce is scheduled to join us a little bit later on this morning. As you know, Michael Pierce has been a recurring guest on this program for years upon years upon years. One of my favorite people that's ever been in Baltimore. Great guy. He was on with us the morning after Mo passed away. Michael Pierce is just a wonderful human being and a heck of a football player, and I'm happy to have him back. The Minnesota thing did not work for Michael Pierce. He wasn't able to play the first year because, I got to remember what his situation was. Asthma, I think, that he was dealing with. That was a complication that he didn't want to play and risk getting COVID. And then last year he missed half the season due to injury. And so that's tough. It's tough because you're talking about a guy that's only played 8 games in the last 2 years, right? Like, you're going to concern yourself about that when it comes to somebody that you're signing in the free agent market. But we know the situation was unique in 2020. And when he's played, he's continued to be a very solid football player. In fact, the numbers say he was better in getting in the backfield last year and disrupting pass plays and impacting quarterbacks than he had ever been in Baltimore, where he was largely a non-factor in getting after quarterbacks. So, that could be a really interesting thing that could be coming related to Michael Pierce. I'm happy about it because the Ravens needed to address the defensive line. I don't think it should preclude them because I don't think Jordan Davis is a natural nose tackle, and that's what Michael Pierce really is. I don't think it should preclude them from considering Jordan Davis. But it seems like the issue kind of shifts back to edge rush again. As my apologies. I don't know if you heard, I'm dealing with allergies. It's unpleasant. I got a bunch of mucus floating around. It's really, really cute. Yeah. Should bring the trash can over here so I can spit the mucus. I'm not even kidding about that, Jordan. Give me a trash can. This is what's going on. It must be a thrill to work with me. There's a big old trash can. I'm not kidding. There is so much mucus that I'm dealing with right now. I got more mucus than Jordan had alcohol last evening. Anyway, the point is...
Incorrect.
I don't know, dude. I think you're really underestimating how much mucus I'm dealing with.
I bet Jordan's a lightweight. He had 2 beers from standing on the bar.
No. It was bad.
You're a pretty skinny guy, man. I don't know.
But I can drink.
He wears it as a badge of
right.
honor.
I'm a man of accomplishment.
I can drink some beer.
I put down a whole 5th of whiskey.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. All right. Easy, bud. God bless you. I remember being young. I had a few nights in my life. I'm happy for you. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your weekend. Anyway, I like Michael Pierce. I do. Not only as a person, I like him as a football player. I I do think the Ravens are banking on a lot right now with Odafe Owe if they don't further address edge rush. And I think it's a tricky thing to do. Not because I don't like what I saw from Odafe Owe. There were certainly signs of him being a good football player, but because it's not a proven commodity. And you don't really have anything else. Tyus Bowser was so versatile for you a year ago in a different role that you don't want to move him back to just being a pass rusher. He was so good in all the things you were asking him to do. You don't want to have him slide back to the other side of the field, because how do you replace that? That becomes a real issue. There is still an issue at the mic as well. I mean, for what it's worth, Patrick Queen proved to be a really good weak side linebacker when he got his opportunity, but you still have a problem at the mic too. So the biggest issues probably shift there. There are still more things the Ravens can do. There's still the opportunity they could bring back Justin Houston. That doesn't do a lot for me. He probably had a little bit more left last season than I thought he did, but that was a low bar that we're talking about. You can still bring back Calais Campbell, but that doesn't really help your edge rush as much as it helps getting some pressure in the defensive line. You're kind of pointing more towards, there's just not much left. That's the most unfortunate part about how the Zadarius Smith thing played out was that the market kind of cleaned out in the time where you thought you had Zadarius Smith and the time where you realized you didn't. Now, that allowed them to have the money to go sign a Michael Pierce, and so that's a good thing. But you don't have a lot of money left now. The market is thinned out. You're kind of holding your you-know-what when it comes to edge rush at this point. There are thought-of edge rush players that are likely to be available. There's, of course, Jermaine Johnson from Florida State, David Ajabo from Michigan, who I just can't help. Every time when we're talking to Charles Davis, I can't help it but to think that would make a whole lot of sense with the Ravens and David Ajabo. I get it. Getting the best football player is what matters most. But when you happen to get a guy that your defensive coordinator literally turned into a star by figuring out how to use him, I can't help but think that's appealing. I can't help it. I can't dismiss it. I know it seems like the dumb guy thing to say, like the biggest idiot on Twitter can say, David Ajabo played for Mike McDonald at Michigan. But it's even a step beyond that. David Ajabo was not much of anything. And then Mike McDonald showed up, figured out exactly how to use him, and turned him into a star who's going to be a first-round pick of the NFL draft. If you know exactly how to use the guy, I get it. What matters most is, can he match up against NFL-caliber players? Well, most scouts seem to think that's the case. That is the reason that he's got a first-round grade. And if that's the case, knowing that your guy is the guy that knows how to use him best, that seems significant to me. Maybe I'm crazy. But I just feel like I can't shake that. So we'll see how it all plays out. It's a bummer about Zadarius Smith. It is. Can't shake that. It's a bummer. Impact edge rusher off the board. Nothing you can do about it now. You move on and you try to address it in other ways. Today's show is also brought to you by the Baltimore Police Department. Join a proud new generation of Baltimore police and make an active difference in your community. Start with competitive wages and excellent benefits on day one. Join for good at bpdrecruit.org. And now, the ongoing saga of Carlos Correa and the Baltimore Orioles. And as we discussed yesterday, we all kind of seem to be waiting for, with no disrespect to Raul Ramos from Cone Lost Bases Loaded, or what is it? How do you pronounce it in Spanish? Yeñas? I don't even remember exactly what it is. And with no disrespect to him and with no disrespect to our friends from Utah Street Report, the thing that we said yesterday is it feels like the majority of us are waiting for somebody like a Jeff Passan or a Ken Rosenthal to attach the Orioles to Carlos Correa. And we don't have to wait any longer because that happened last night. Ken Rosenthal attached the Baltimore Orioles to Carlos Correa in one of the most throwaway ways possible, which makes it even weirder. Ken Rosenthal acknowledges, yes, the Orioles are in on Carlos Correa. But then just sort of throws out this, Afterwards, I guess if you're not watching me, you don't know that I did a giant shoulder shrug in there. For those, I don't want to, I know The Athletic charges money for you to read their stuff, and so I'm not trying to completely give away everything that they do because I think you should subscribe. We don't charge for what we do, but, we have advertisers and things along those lines, and I hope that you will support said advertisers because that goes a long way to helping us. So I'm not really a fan of just giving away the things that people pay for, but it seems pretty relevant given the circumstances that we have the conversation. And again, the way in which it was reported was particularly weird. Ken Rosenthal essentially did a notebook column last night at The Athletic. Covered a bunch of different things that just he lumped in together as we're approaching the start of the season. And by the way, the Orioles play their first spring training game today. And obviously there's still a bunch of players that are out there available on the market. So he's writing about Josh Donaldson. He's writing about other things. And you get down a little bit further, and there's this note. Correa to Orioles, ? Which is basically the way that we've been living our lives for the last couple of weeks. The 2012 draft was most notable for the Astros' selection of Carlos Correa over Byron Buxton and others with the number 1 pick. Mike Elias, the Astros amateur scouting director then, was the driving force behind the Correa pick, and now that Elias is the Orioles GM, it stands to reason he would have interest in Correa, the top remaining free agent. Well, yeah, that's kind of what we've been saying. But you're Ken Rosenthal, so. Elias seemed to dismiss the idea on Monday, telling reporters it was unlikely the rebuilding Orioles would offer any free agent a multi-year contract. But Correa, according to a source with knowledge of the Orioles' thinking, might be an exception if his price dropped to a level the club deemed appropriate. This is where it gets weird. Because, all of that sounds about right. That makes sense. The Orioles, what's Carlos Correa asking? There's got to be a reason why he's unsigned right now, considering the money that was given to, say, Corey Seager. Mm-hmm. What was the dollar figure for Corey Seager?
10 years, $325 million.
So if that's what Corey Seager got, there has to be a reason why Carlos Correa is unsigned, and that reason might even suggest that it's beyond 10 years and $350 million that he's looking for. Perhaps he wants to be the first $40 million a year guy, whatever it is. Ken Rosenthal goes on. What level that might be? 50 million? 100 million? 200 million? Is not known.
Unless you're Raul Ramos.
Well, he doesn't know that either. He knows what they offered. Carlos Correa, 27, is certainly young enough to serve as a centerpiece of a rebuilding program, but many in the industry suspect Correa will wind up back with the Astros, perhaps on a short deal, rather than the long-term $350 million contract he desires. 50 million? 100 million? Yeah, the Orioles will sign him. He brings his price down to 10 years and $150 million. Well, sure. I bet they would. If I had to guess.
I'd sign him. I'd figure out how to do it.
If I had to guess, probably somebody else would jump in before they got their chance. But, yeah, good point. If he brought his number down $200 million by more than half, the Orioles might be willing to sign him at that point. This makes it such a weird thing to throw into. It's almost better off just leaving that sentence out, because that sentence really tells us nothing. Now, look, I get it. It's still relevant because it's still the first time that a reporter of Ken Rosenthal's ilk, and there's very few of those, has directly tied the Baltimore Orioles to Carlos Correa. That's meaningful. That means this isn't bluster. That means that the people that were being utterly dismissive of Raul Ramos have a bit of egg on their face. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but I did not understand, and I'm trying not to call people out by name because I don't want to be that guy. We used to do a show like that on the radio. I don't really like doing that anymore. But I remember the morning afterwards, one of the significant Orioles beat writers writing a story that did no reporting but said, "Is this going to happen? No, of course not." And thinking to myself, okay, are you quoting someone? Are you reporting that? Or what exactly? Because again, It's one thing for me, for dumb son of a bitch on internet radio. Actually, my mother's lovely. Let me take that back. You get what I'm saying? For me, the idiot, to go on and say, it's not going to happen. Come on. You're a reporter. That's your job. Maybe go ask somebody. Because the answer isn't just no. It's still not likely yes, as even Ken Rosenthal points out. The sense within baseball remains that Carlos Correa is going back to the Astros. But it's clearly not just a flat no. It's clear that Raul Ramos was not just making things up, which maybe we should have respected considering he wasn't just some guy on the internet. Again, with no disrespect to Ryan Blake, who I like. He's been a good guy. We've had a good relationship over the years. You could do that to Ryan Blake. He's not a reporter. You could say he's a guy on the internet. I don't think he's making it up because I know Ryan. I don't think he would do that. But you can say that's not what he does for a living. He's not a reporter. But Raul Ramos actually is. And it took a very minimal amount of me doing some background on him to say, I can't dismiss this guy. I can't. I can still be skeptical of the reality because I, have been around the Orioles for a long time, but he's a legitimate, member of the Baseball Writers Association who appears, based on his website, to be plugged in within Latin baseball. So I can't dismiss it or just throw it out there as some guy in his mom's basement making stuff up on the internet. There has quite clearly been a connection between the Baltimore Orioles and Carlos Correa. To what extent? That's the weird part about Ken Rosenthal's report. It's a big difference between saying, yeah, if he brought it down to 10 years and $300 million, we'd sign him, or if he brought it down to 10 years on $150 million, we'd sign him. Those are wildly different figures. Raul Ramos, for what it's worth, followed up that the Orioles are still working on a Carlos Correa, a new offer related to Carlos Correa. And then threw in kind of weirdly that they would also be they would be interested in signing Adley Rutschman to an extension. Which is only weird because, I didn't get the sense that his source was within the Orioles camp when we talked to him. So that was kind of a weird part of that report that he put out last night. Con las bases llenas is how you pronounce it. So just reading from him, again, he doesn't charge, so I don't feel quite as bad about this. With less than 21 days before the start of the season, the Orioles are pushing hard to land free agent Carlos Correa, who they think will captain the O's ship into the future. Sources to Con Las Bases Llenas confirm the Orioles are working on a new offer, including new details on the proposal, including an opt-out after the fourth year for the Platinum Glove winner and All-Star shortstop. So that's a strange part of this, because I've talked about how I figured that was probably going to be the ultimate poison pill if the Orioles had offered a 10-year deal, is that Carlos Correa would want an opt-out, and why would the Orioles be interested in an early opt-out? 4 years kind of gives you like a 2-year window, because you're certainly not winning this year, even with Carlos Correa. Maybe by next year you could get to the place where at least you're competitive. If Adley Rutschman comes up and really hits the way we think that Adley Rutschman will, if Grayson Rodriguez shows up in the major leagues this year and is as good as people think Grayson Rodriguez could be, then by next year, you add another part or two, you can make an argument for being competitive. But then from there, to try to win a World Series, it really gives you a 2-year window if you give an opt-out after the 4th year. It also prevents you from being able to front-load the contract the way that we had suspected a potential Carlos Correa offer would be. You're not going to front-load a deal to give a guy the chance to opt out after 4 years. Then you're not really giving him a 10-year, $350 million deal. You're giving him a 4-year, $200 million deal. Or something in that neighborhood, 190, something like that. You could write it out that way, I guess. I mean, like, you could say, hey, we're going all in for 4 years, and that's our window, and we realize that's our window, and maybe he'll be happy, but you can't You can't possibly front load it. You can't do that. Because then what you're essentially saying is he's definitely not going to stick around, because if you know you're making less money in the last 6 years of the contract, obviously you'll opt out. Clearly. So you wouldn't be able to front load it. And maybe the Orioles are fine with that. Maybe they say, look, man, it's not that big of a deal to us. We want Carlos Correa, whether we front load it or not. That was never a big deal to us. But it would take that out of the equation if you're looking to a fourth-year opt-out related to Carlos Correa, because it just simply wouldn't work. The initial offer presented was top-heavy in the first couple of years, averaging over $40 million per season, and just under $30 million the remaining 8 with no opt-outs. Approximately $360 million is what Raul Ramos says. It's a little bit more than the 320 that we did the math on when we first got those numbers. If Carlos Correa wasn't willing to do a deal at 10 and 360, I don't know, bro.
Well, maybe he just wasn't willing to do it without the opt-out.
And it might be as simple as that. That again, the opt-out was the poison pill. Mm-hmm. But again, once you do the opt-out, you can't front load.
Right.
You are committing to that much money for if he decides to stick around. And the more likely scenario is, if for some reason it goes wrong with Carlos Correa, he's definitely sticking around because he won't be able to get that money on the free agent market, right, and you're stuck with it for the rest of that deal. It's a risk I'd probably be willing to take, but we got to think through that. And a player who athleticism is important for, right? This is not somebody that, as they get into their late 30s, can still just go up there and be a guy that slugs home runs. And, his athleticism is part of what makes him so valuable. So he gets into his mid-30s, there's a risk that's involved with that. That's significant. Then he adds, at the same time, sources have confirmed the front office is working on a contract extension for top prospect Adley Rutschman that will help set the O's on the right track for the future. It's very exciting. The idea of the Orioles finally being a team that's willing to buy out arbitration years. I mean, that to me is almost more exciting than Carlos Correa, if I'm being completely honest with you. That's something we've been asking for a long time. Get ahead of this. Show that it's not just always going to be, we have these guys until they're gone. Show that you're willing to be aggressive in order to get an extra couple of years with somebody. And then maybe at that point, say that Carlos Correa walks, you're in a better place to offer Adley Rutschman some money. I'm very excited about that prospect. I'm still skeptical about Carlos Correa because why wouldn't I be? But the idea of the Orioles being a team that's suddenly willing to get ahead of things with arbitration years, that would almost be music to me. That, in the same way that once upon a time they had to get involved in international signings, it doesn't forgive the things they've done in the past, but at least it catches them up in Major League Baseball in 2020. You got one of those guys, buy out their arbitration years, let's go. And somebody can say, well, Adley, you don't even know that Adley Rutschman's going to work. You don't. People feel pretty strongly about it. Intelligent people seem to feel pretty strongly about the chances. I think it's a risk that you should be willing to take.
A lot of people are skeptical because it's the Orioles. And we've seen how they've operated for the last 30 years.
I promise you I'm skeptical. I promise.
But when we've talked about it on this show before, it's not the same leadership group. It's all new leadership running this team.
We do have to be fair about that, 100%. We do have to be fair about it. There are different people making decisions. All right, so that's what's going on today. Today's show is also brought to you by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders. Ooh, hello. From your local Toyota dealer today. Drinking water this morning. Sound like Jordan last night. Hey! I was combing through my On This Day feature on Facebook this morning, and I was reminded of the night that I was out on St. Patrick's Day, and a young lady came up, flashed us, and then offered my wife and I marriage advice.
Nice.
Or no, counseling. Before we were dating. But this is like when we first started dating. Actually, before we were married, I meant to say. So 12 years ago, we were out on St. Patrick's Day, and some lady, literally, and I remember this quite well. I take that back. I remember this vaguely. This gal came up and said, "Do you want to see my shamrocks?" And I was like, and she just did. And we were in a bar. We weren't even out in a street party or anything like that. We were in a bar. And there was an she had some work done, And there was a scar. Like, there was a notice. I was like,
Was it like Mr. Garrison in South Park?
Kinda, almost. I mean, like, she was a lovely young lady, but the work there had been an issue in relation to this particular work that had been done. And then she introduced herself to us and wanted to know our story and proceeded to offer us advice about moving towards marriage. And I think we'd only been together for like a year at that point. It was lovely. The entire experience was quite lovely.
Step 1, flash strangers in a bar.
And then see where it goes.
Yeah.
Just go from there. All right, we'll come back in. The return of the Jon Proctor Quiz. That's next. Then Rodney Elliott will join us, talk some hoops. Michael Pierce scheduled to join us this morning. And Chris Hinton, really cool story. You might say that name sounds familiar. Well, this is the younger Chris Hinton the son of former Baltimore Colt and, of course, longer Indianapolis Colt, Chris Hinton, who was acquired in the infamous John Elway trade. His son is a defensive lineman from Michigan, a top NFL draft prospect, and is going to join us a little bit later on this morning to talk about not only that connection, but, of course, the Mike McDonald connection as well. That's all coming up on Glenn Clark Radio.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Answering Baltimore's calls for help, running in when others run away, working together toward one shared vision for a thriving city. That's your Baltimore Police. But the department needs more good people like you. Join a proud new generation of Baltimore Police and make an active difference in your community. Start with competitive wages and excellent benefits on day one. Join for good at bpdrecruit.org.
Sports betting has come to Maryland, and we're ready to help you win some money. Tune in for Simply the Bets with Glenn Clark and Paul Valley every Tuesday morning at 11:40. Fanduel Sportsbook GM Bruce Billick and VSiN's Aaron Oster join the guys every week to give you all of the info you need and even a few winners. So come win some money with us on Simply the Bets every Tuesday at 11:40 a.m. Brought to you by the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. Watch at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline.
Glory Days Grill's St. Patrick's menu is now in full swing, and it's their most popular seasonal menu all year. New in 2022 are their smoky thigh wings with Guinness grilling sauce, a house-made Guinness barbecue sauce. Fan favorites also include their corned beef and cabbage, the shepherd's pie with Guinness braised ground beef, the Glory Days Reuben, and the Rachel. Enjoy a pint of Guinness or Guinness Baltimore Blonde. The St. Patrick's menu is available for the whole month of March. Come in for great food, cold beer, and basketball. Find out more about Glory Days Grill and get your order in online at glorydaysgrill.com.
Baseball is back. I'm Paul Valley.
And I'm Zach Goodman.
You can find us live every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon talking all things Orioles and Major League Baseball.
Like the debuts of Adley Rutschman and Grayson Rodriguez.
And how the rotation and bullpen are rounding into form. Watch us live at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and facebook.com/PressBoxSports.
Or you can listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio.
That's the Bat Around, live with the latest in baseball coverage every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
We can't imagine why you'd want to, but you can watch GCR live. It's at facebook.com/PressBoxSports and try to guess whether these guys are wearing any pants.
Thank you to Alston who checked in with his own Macy Gray video this morning. Yes, I'm going for the Macy Gray feel this morning as I battle through seasonal allergies. It is Glenn Clark Radio, a Friday edition of the program. We had to start a little bit earlier this a.m. as I'm headed down to the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. If you missed it last night, Stan the Fan and Gary Stein caught up with Maddie Brightman, a Baltimore native who is now doing incredible things as part of the Scott Van Pelt Show on ESPN, one of the producers there. That was a neat conversation about being a woman trying to make your way in the sports media industry. I found it quite compelling. This afternoon, Stan and Luke Jackson are going to catch up with Baltimore boxer Yahoo Blackwell ahead of a big fight that he has coming up down in the Dominican Republic. So Stan's doing lots of shows for you, facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or you can see it at PressBoxOnline.com/video. So this was a feature on the show for years. It used to be that Forrester would come in every Friday. We called it Fridays with Forrester because we were very clever. And Jon Proctor, who is a trivia master. You can play trivia, I believe, again with John at Ocean Pride on Wednesdays starting this week. He is the trivia host there. Jon Proctor started sending us these sort of fun, silly quizzes. And so we had a good running gag going. The competition far less important than the content when it comes to these things. Then when Drew stopped coming in because of COVID, it was me versus Kyle, and now we're going to try it with Paul and see how it goes. Now, I told John to write it up a certain way because Paul has strengths and weaknesses. I was like, maybe if you go heavy on college basketball stuff, that probably won't go so well. So he said he was going to write it a certain way to try to play to you. But we'll have fun with it. Jordan's going to so John was the author, but Jordan's going to be the actual Proctor. It's Jordan Proctor playing the role of Jon Proctor this morning for this week's Jon Proctor Quiz, which is brought to you by Glory Days Grill, where the St. Patrick's menu will be available for the rest of the month, including the delicious shepherd's pie with the Guinness braised beef, as well as the Guinness grilling sauce and their smoky thigh wings, and so much more, the Reuben, the Rachel. It's all available for you for the rest of the month. GloryDaysGrill.com is the website to get your order in. All right, sir, is there any sort of theme for this week's quiz? Okay, just talking to the microphone.
No.
Do that. All right.
No.
Not a great start.
Yeah.
It's not a great start. God, it's an audio medium. Jordan,
we can't hear his brain
Jordan-
rattling around.
Jordan, as soon as I ask the question, he'd been camped out on top of the microphone. When I ask a question, he does this. If you're listening, you didn't hear anything.
I heard a little something. I heard a little spray can rattle.
Go. What do we got?
All right. Warm-up wild card round. Question 1. Of course, the sports tournament taking the country by storm right now is the Women's Cricket World Cup.
Big one.
Yes. Being held in New Zealand until April the 3rd. In what year was the first WCWC played?
Well, it's kind of unfair for me because I actually know the answer. I'm a fan.
1913.
You're supposed to let me write down a number.
Oh, nobody told me this.
Yeah, but you got to think this is like how you screwed up the draft thing. If I think that it was after that, I could just guess 1914 now and cover everything after 1913.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to do that. 1914 is going to be my guess because I get the points difference between the correct answer and your answer.
Should I say yeah?
Yes.
1973.
You had to learn a tough lesson there, Paul. I'm sorry.
Fair
you
enough.
had to learn a difficult lesson there. You got to let me write my answer down so I just got
So then you would get the points.
60 points. Yeah. No big deal. There's plenty of points to be had during the course of this thing.
This one is 10 seconds only. What was the combined margin of victory for the first 4 games of this year's March Madness tournament? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, what'd you write down?
17.
I wrote down 28.
30.
Yeah! I knew there were a couple close games, but I thought there was 2 blowouts in there, too.
All right. And then...
I'm rolling.
Yeah.
I'm rolling.
Yeah.
I'm kicking your ass.
Yeah, so far.
And so now, question 3. Cameron Smith.
Remember, you can't talk into the side of the microphone. You have to talk into the... Yeah.
Cameron Smith of Brisbane, Australia, won the Players' Championship this past weekend at TPC Sawgrass. How many miles is Brisbane from Sydney, Australia, in a straight line?
Where is Brisbane again?
It's in Australia, Paul. They're both places in Australia.
Here's a hint. It's about the same distance from Boise to Sacramento.
Oh, well, now that helps. I definitely know now exactly what from Boise, 200. All right. I mean, obviously, I've driven that like 7 or 8 times this year, so yeah, I'll go with that number. Yeah. There's supposed to be chatter while we do that. That's the point of a segment. Like, again, the content is the part that matters, not the competition. What's the number you got?
1,673 miles.
Okay, I think you way overshot that. I think, in fact, you might have screwed up the entire quiz. 245 is the number I came up with.
Boise, Idaho?
To Sacramento.
To Sacramento, California.
Yes, they're not that far from each other. Do you know where Idaho is?
Yeah, I do, but I feel like...
Did you think it was Iowa?
I may have mistaken it with Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, Idaho's right there.
The answer is 455.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm thinking...
I mean, it's more than I thought it was for what it was worth, but it definitely wasn't
We know
that.
that I am geographically challenged.
I understand that.
And California is a huge state.
It is a large state.
And I'm thinking Sacramento... Whatever. I was way off.
Yours was 1,000. What was it?
Yeah, would you write? You write it down?
673
No.
miles.
No.
1,600. I already don't like this.
Just say the number again so we can do the math.
1,673 miles.
This is going.
Was 245.
245, but it's not relevant. I was closer, so I get the points, and I believe I got about 1,000 or 1,200 on that.
These are
one.
stupid questions. These are really stupid questions.
Did not take him long to.
These are really. Are the questions always like this? Like
some of the point is they're supposed to be ones that there's no way for us to know.
Fair enough.
That we're just guessing.
I didn't sign up for this.
But
I was forced into this.
You're supposed to be. You go see Limp Bizkit. Go. You know they're playing Madison Square Garden. How is Limp Bizkit still able to play Madison Square Garden?
My guess is that it will not be sold out.
I'm just going to, I don't know, there's a big market, but my God, what a weird thing. All right, what are we going?
What is fourth one and last one for this
yeah,
round?
Mercifully.
What is the sum of Zadarius Smith's career sacks plus his career games started?
This probably felt really relevant when we thought he was going to be a Raven. Sum of his career sacks plus his career games started. Let's see, he has. I'll say. All right. What you got?
Not quite ready.
Come on,
yet.
come on. We got Rodney Elliott coming up top of the hour.
I don't know. 118.
I said 125, so our numbers are similar.
118, 125. The correct answer was 92.5.
Oh, boy, way overshot that. Way over. So Paul's on the board. Yay!
Hey!
You don't have to do a naked lap. Congratulations.
It's still a slaughter.
Well, I mean, in fairness,
yeah.
There's a long
There's
time.
nothing fair
It's
about this quiz.
There's a long. There's nothing fair about
Paul's
it.
geographically challenged.
Because I'm supposed to know the distance between Sacramento and Boise?
You know everything about the geography of the United States.
I don't know everything.
I don't know
assure
the
you
counties
that's not
in
the
my
case.
own state, and I'm
that's
getting
that's a bigger problem.
Geography question.
Bigger problem that we got to deal with. Got to deal with that.
I got like half of them
Address
last time.
I don't want to talk about it. Next.
All right.
At least I know who John Glenn is.
There is that. Thank God. You would seem there's something about Mary. Jordan! Jordan! Watch the effing movie!
Take one of those nights where you go get drunk and instead
Seriously.
watch the movie.
Or get drunk and watch the movie. It's a great movie to hang out with your friends and get drunk and watch.
My girlfriend saw it, and I actually asked her. I was like, "Where can we watch this?" And she goes, "I don't know. Let's watch The Good Place instead."
Get the F out of here, Jordan. All right, quickly next.
Volley round. So 3 strikes.
Hey, know the risks and have a plan before you start gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Thank God I don't have money on this.
Yeah.
How does the volley round work exactly?
By the way, for what it's worth, you could still cover. The spread was about 1,600, so you could still
I think
get
I lost all that
a
on
statement.
Boise.
You could still get a statement cover here today.
So the way the thank you. I assume John's listening. Thank you, John. He is editing. I put the numbers down.
Just get to it.
All right.
All right.
Volley round. 3 strikes, and so you get 5 times the score for each answer. you get
Okay.
right. So with the news of Adley Rutschman's tricep injury casting doubt on his availability for opening day, a lot of Orioles fans are wondering when the prospect will make it to Camden Yards. If Adley were to play, he'd become the 10th different catcher to start opening day for the O's since 2002, not named Matt Wieters, who started in 6.
That was the one I knew.
Alternating 3 strikes.
I believe because Paul is trailing, he gets to go first, which is unfair, but I'll let him have it.
Ramon Hernandez.
No, that's a strike.
What?
No, there's no way that's
Ramon
right.
Hernandez.
Oh, wait, no, yeah.
What are you?
Ramon Hernandez, 0806.
Jesus.
Okay.
I'll assume there was a Caleb Joseph in there somewhere.
Caleb Joseph, 18 and 15.
Geronimo Heel.
Yep, 0302.
I couldn't have told you what years Geronimo Heel was. So,
Missing a few big ones, honestly.
all right, settle down over
we've
there.
had 2 guesses
Yeah, right.
each.
What are you doing, man? Brooke Fordyce.
No, that's a strike.
Yeah, he left in 2000.
Was that really that long ago?
Mhm.
Jesus Christ! This is the problem with me not knowing years.
Javi Lopez.
Yep, 0504.
Wellington Castillo.
Yep, 17.
Greg Zahn.
Yep, 09.
2002, we say.
Yeah, you got 2002 and 2003. That was Jill.
Heel.
I already said that.
I know. He's.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I
what
thought
we-
you were
that's
guessing.
what, that's what we're doing. No, I'm aware. I'm dealing with this. I can't even remember who started in more recent years. And this is how bad it is. I genuinely don't remember.
You're missing the one from.
Was Jesus Sucre the opening day catcher?
Yeah,
All right.
2019. You're missing the one from.
All right.
Pedro Severino. We got this, man. Just proctor the quiz.
Well, you might have it. I actually don't know that I have it. I want to make that abundantly clear.
Glenn doesn't need any hints.
This is not an area of strength for me. The fact that I've gotten as many as I did. Who am I? Who am I?
There's one more.
There's one more.
I'm pretty sure I know it.
I don't. For sure. Settle down. My God. You get all antsy in your pants. Taylor Teagarden?
Nope.
Ronnie Paulino.
Nope.
Really?
I got one more strike, right? Hundley.
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay.
He was the fill-in.
I know, but I got to. Thank you. I at least named an Orioles catcher. I named 2 Orioles
But he was only
catchers.
here 1 year, and he was a fill-in.
Bro.
After he just got hurt.
Bro. No, he still has strikes. You're not doing well. You're
John
struggled.
John wrote. I can tell them the year. He is
Oh,
wrote.
all right, fine. That's fine. Wait a second. But I don't get the advantage of that then, because I'm already struck out. So
Fair.
no.
Okay. For the next round, yes.
Yeah.
Well, next round.
He still has a guess. Don't you
No,
have a
I
guess?
got Teagarden, Fordyce, and Hundley. I struck
You
out.
got.
I have 2 strikes left.
Yep.
Let me think about this. It is.
Oh, God damn it. I think I know.
You know it.
I think I do. Now I got to remember what year it was, though.
God, you already got like the obvious ones. It's got to be somebody who wasn't around very
Oh,
long.
nope, I was wrong.
What was it?
Come on, we got to move on.
I'm drawing a blank. I'm like,
Guess something, anything at all.
that guy.
You got to turn the clock on. Count him down.
10,
Count him down.
10, 9, 8.
Pass. I
Seven.
got.
Well, you get another strike, so
Yeah, I know.
why would you just let the clock go?
I mean, because he has to start the clock over anyway.
Okay.
You already said Sucre. It's not Paulino. It's not Castillo. It's
Jordan, turn the clock on.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
that Ortiz guy.
2. No. It was Paul Bacco?
Paul Bacco.
Paul Bacco?
Paul
Bacco.
Bacco.
He ever started on? There's no way. I had no chance at that.
2007.
My God.
I had no shot at that. I forgot Paul Bacco was a person.
I was living in Arizona at the time, so I had no thought
Totally
whatsoever.
forgot he was a person.
Played 60 games in 2007 for the Baltimore
That was a
Orioles.
year before my stretch of opening day games started.
Well, there you go. All right, next cat. So what's the score? You want to update the score really quickly, Jordan?
Score is Glenn 343.
Wait, how do I only have 343?
I don't know. Proctor's running the scoring right now.
Oh, that's shady. Proctor's he screwed with the scoring to try to keep it closer. You son of a bitch. That's some
But
shady.
Maybe I dominated that round, and you
No,
you
you
get
didn't
5
dominate. I would still have more points. You would just be closer.
Right, but
I was supposed to get the difference in points between what you got wrong and the correct answer. I should have gotten 1,200 points for that round alone.
But didn't I get like 5 times the points?
It doesn't matter. I should still have more
You
points.
probably do still have more points.
No, I should have more points. He just said I had 300. I should have at least 1,200.
You've got through. Oh, nope. Proctor entered your score. Paul's, I don't know if it's correct right now, but right now you've 1,351.
All right. And what's Paul's?
Right now, 183.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay.
That's about
All
right.
right. Okay. All right.
But he's on on the comeback trail.
So, volley round number 2. With NFL free agency running wild, fantasy football implications are being assessed way too early. Let us instead look back at 2021 and name the 10 highest scoring non-quarterbacks in standard point system.
Remember, you got to talk into the microphone. You can't talk to the side of the microphone.
Alternating 20 times volley scoring.
Okay. You're still trailing, so you would still go first.
Devontae Adams.
We haven't had a chance to talk about that yet. Whew. God, the AFC West is nuts. I mean, it's just bat-ass insane. Jonathan Taylor.
That's a yes.
I'm gonna
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook.
There's no way.
Well, he was hurt for a while.
No, yeah, he
was hurt. That actually kind of
He's out
makes
for like
sense.
3 games.
It was enough that I could see him falling out of the top 10 for sure. I mean, like, you got guys that played are going to have the advantage here.
He said top 10, and he said alternating 20, and that's where it threw me. Was 20. I thought for sure he's top 20.
Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
You know, you're supposed to say something about it, like where they were on the list. Just saying yup is not exactly
Tyreek Hill, 296.5 like
10th. That's fine. He's in the top 10. I'll take it.
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews, 301.1.
Again, you got to remember, Jordan, I love you. I need you to talk into the microphone, not into the side of the microphone, all right? I just need you to talk into the microphone. Next is Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, 330.4.
Where is he on the list?
He is.
Okay, all right. This is more of a struggle.
He is 6th.
Okay, thank you.
Cooper Kupp.
Top one. Top one at 439.5.
Probably should have started there. Now that I think about it, it's a miss on my part. Nick Chubb. I know he was hurt too.
Nope,
Son of a bitch, he was hurt.
He
I
did
forgot.
He did get hurt.
Melvin Gordon.
No.
You don't have to laugh about it. He's got like 2 touchdowns every other game.
Not.
James Conner.
Ooh, that's a good one.
No.
What?
Scored a lot of touchdowns. I got 2 strikes. Stop. Don't.
Right.
Don't.
Proctor said keep him moving.
We do need to keep him moving. That's true. We're just guessing football players. It shouldn't be this hard.
No, it's definitely not going to be him. Definitely not going to be him.
It really shouldn't be this difficult.
CD Lamb.
No. And Paul has.
You're a
struck out.
dick about this, man. You just no, idiot. Learn to talk into the microphone.
Wait, I only got. Oh, because he also said Melvin Gordon. I forgot about that one. All right, yeah, he did strike out. So it's a big chance. Big chance for your boy. But I don't think I got anything else. There's 4 left.
You are going. Yeah.
And it's probably big dogs that I'm just not even.
Yeah.
I just feel like all of the running backs were hurt. I was going to say Derrick Henry, but he was hurt. I was going to say Christian McCaffrey, but he was hurt. I was going to say Alvin Kamara, but he was hurt. Like everybody was hurt.
Were they?
Shut up. Now you're going to make me second guess, and then I'm going to be getting it wrong because I second guess. Go screw. Jamar Chase.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Proctor wrote you had Chase on your team.
I did.
And then
I did have him on my team.
And then he proceeds to write, so ridicule him when he misses it.
I didn't miss it, dick.
You've got another guess.
I do. Joe Mixon.
Nope.
Damn it.
The ones you guys missed
were
just Austin Eckler, 343.8.
Yeah, he was really good. Yeah.
Deebo Samuel, 338.96. And Najee Harris, 300.7.
All right.
He averaged less than 4 yards a carry. That's why I didn't think about him.
I can't believe James Conner. He scored 1,000 touchdowns
he really
last season.
did.
Jesus Christ. All right, what's the update? Jordan, the update, the score. We got to move quickly.
Update 1,551. Glenn, 303.
Ass kicking. Next.
All right. According to Statista, the Baltimore Orioles franchise was worth $1.43 billion in 2021. There are 11 teams between them, and the only team valued under $1 billion, the Marlins. 3 strikes, name those franchises.
And these are only in baseball?
Yeah, only in baseball. Earn 1 point for each $10 million the franchise is worth.
So it's the 12 least valuable franchises in baseball, but separating the Marlins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cincinnati Reds.
Yep. Cincinnati Reds, 1.085.
The Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
The Rays, 10th.
I think you owe them $1.
1.055.
When they switched their name, they started charging everybody that called them Devil Rays $1.
What does that even mean? Like
so
who?
So that you would stop anybody that said it like on the air.
Oh, well, that's
had to pay 'em
different. I was going to say, like, people walking down the street, they would charge them $1?
The Oakland Athletics.
Damn it.
Yeah. Oakland Athletics, 1.125. Proctor wrote 3 seconds only, so I'll start that.
All right. The Pittsburgh Pirates.
Pirates, yep, 1.285.
The Phillies.
Nope, strike.
I'll say the Cleveland Guardians.
Guardians, yep, 7th spot.
The Colorado Rockies.
That's a good one.
Yep, the 3rd spot.
How about the hanky bag, the Minnesota Twinkies?
Top spot, yep.
No, it's not going to be them. The Arizona Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks, 2nd.
The Detroit Basketball Tigers.
Yep, 5th spot.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have one more,
No,
right?
there's two
No,
more.
Two more?
Yeah.
2 more.
The Kansas City Royals.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
10th spot.
How about the Blue Jays?
Nope.
Okay. Guess they have the entire country to market to.
No, that's definitely not the Cardinals. I don't know. The National. No, they have a ton of money. The Nationals. That's my guess. 'Cause I already said it.
Nope.
They have a ton of money. That was a stupid
The
guess.
Brewers.
Correct.
Hey!
The Brewers is a good guess.
All right.
That's a team who I was trying to get to, and I couldn't think of the name.
Well, you should have. That would have been really good for you if you had done that, but
Yeah.
you failed miserably, and your family is now
And-
ashamed of you.
Yeah, well, that's assuming they weren't already.
Well, fair, right.
Scoring update, 2,282 points. Glenn, 892. Paul. And now is the wager round.
My favorite part. This is why none of this actually matters, is because you get this and you win.
Win up to 8 times your wager or lose up to 7 times. On the subject of coaches.
All right, so you got to write down what it is that you're wagering and then show Jordan, so I can't. So just tell me to close my eyes.
I can wager.
You can wager up to 892. But you're not supposed to tell me how much you wager. All right, Jordan, I'm showing you this is how much I'm wagering. Is that number right there? All right. And I'll close my eyes. I close my eyes. Yeah. All right, we got a wager. Rodney Elliott joins us next. We'll talk some hoops.
All right. Of the winningest coaches without a Lombardi trophy in their case, the 7 with the highest win percentage have all coached within the last decade. Name as many of the 7 head coaches with the highest winning percentages in their NFL careers with no Super Bowl victories as you dare.
Say that one more time.
Of the winningest coaches without a Lombardi in their case, the 7 with the highest win percentage have all coached within the last decade. Name as many of the 7 head coaches with the highest winning percentage in their NFL careers with no Super Bowl victories.
And is there a minimum number of games?
No.
There's no minimum number of games.
Does not say it on here, no.
That's
I think most of them are established players in the game, or coaches in the game, I should say.
okay.
If I can't remember the name of the coach, but I know the team.
No, you got to get
Yeah.
any sort of name. Some sort of name has to be on the.
Because I know the guy, but I don't know his
I
damn name.
it's not good for what we do for a living.
What's his name? Is it?
Hey, no. This is not the way it goes.
Oh.
We write down our answers. He has a timer, and then we present them at the end. All right?
So
All right, you got a timer?
60 seconds.
And how many are there? 7?
There are 7 of them,
'Kay.
yes.
Go ahead.
All right, starting it, and go.
All right. I think that guy's on there. I think that
Shall
guy.
I sing the Jeopardy
Yeah,
theme
do
song?
something.
Do,
Dance.
do,
Dance. I requested dancing.
Well, no, there's
Nobody
no
can really
sound.
see that,
Yeah,
but you should.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'll dance to the Jeopardy theme song.
Uh-huh.
Do, 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 do,
I can't think with that. I can't.
Man,
I can't
what
think
a
with
jerk
that.
this guy is. What a bad guy. I'll go. Oh boy. Oh no, I don't think so. How much time do we have?
It is 45 seconds right now.
Because you don't have to give 7 answers. Because if you get one wrong, you lose points.
54, 55, 56,
I'm just giving those
57,
answers.
58, 59.
3
Stop.
answers. Those are my 3
I
answers.
got 4.
All right. Your 4 answers are
4 answers are Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Rivera,
Mm-hmm.
and John Fox.
okay.
And then Glenn's are, is this Brooke?
What? No.
Where?
Read the coaches, not the catchers. The coaches up there.
There we go. I was like, oh, yeah. McDermott, Kyle Shanahan, and Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
And the answers were Zach Taylor,
See, that was what I was worried about with minimum number of games.
Ken Wisenhunt,
Wisenhunt.
Kyle Shanahan,
All right, so I got that.
Bill Callahan,
Bill Callahan? I guess he did go to a Super Bowl with the Raiders.
Rex Ryan, Doug Marrone, and Jim Harbaugh.
Oh my God. Well, I don't know what the score is, but I know I won because we both got one right. You got more wrong than I did, so I know I won. Did not do well, but I know I won, and that's all that matters. Ha ha! Suck it. Enjoy Limp Bizkit, you jerk.
Keep rolling.
Call Rodney Elliott if you don't mind. We're running way late. All right, we were on the struggle bus for a little while, but we got through it,
yeah.
and that's what matters. We'll work
with Proctor's help.
Yes, we'll look to improve upon it as we continue moving
I'll
forward.
consult with Proctor.
Thanks to Jon Proctor at the Jon Proctor on Twitter. Sorry about Iowa. Ha ha, you jerk. He's a bad guy, too, so I don't mind that at all. All right, we're into hour number 2 of today's show. Again, if you weren't with us, we had to start earlier today because I'm headed down to the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Going to be watching basketball today from noon to 4 with my man Rodney Elliott. Hope that you will come join us. Remember, special hours in the Fanduel Sportsbook all weekend. They're open 9 a.m. to midnight today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And they will also offer you, if you're a Live Rewards member, a bracket bonus. Make a $50 bet on any NCAA tournament game, and you can register that bet to win a $500 bracket bonus whether you win the bet or not. I'm going to do it today. I think I'm going to do it on Texas Tech to cover. I'm going to get my bet registered to win my bracket bonus. 10 of you are winning a $500 bracket bonus. A pretty good deal. Rodney Elliott, former Terps and Dunbar star, he hung out with us last Sunday. He's back with us today for what should be a wild day of watching hoops, and he's here with us now here on GCR. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Good morning, Glenn. I'm great, man. Yourself?
Everything is good, man. Did you stay up all night watching hoops last night?
You know what? March Madness, baby. I did.
Dude, I was sweating. You know how I feel about UCLA. I was sweating last night. That did not look pretty for quite a while there. Thankfully, they got it figured out in the end as Tiger Campbell. Man, that guy, I love that guy. He's got the coolest name. Knocks down a huge shot. What was your biggest takeaway from day one of the tournament, Rod?
Oh, man, 2 big takeaways I had. I say the biggest one was I was totally surprised by Richmond when they knocked off Iowa. Iowa just won the Big Ten championship. You know, they were getting their groove going. They got nice inside-outside presence. And Richmond came in and not only beat them by 4, but they controlled the whole game. So shout out to Richmond Spiders coming in, underdog.
They were not, as of last Sunday morning, they would not have been in the tournament. and yet here they are in the second round of the NCAA. I mean, it's that's what makes this so great, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously the other one was Shaheen Holloway.
Yeah,
man. Those guys up in St. Peter's, man. They took it to Kentucky. You can tell coach staff did a great job of getting them guys prepared, and they were not afraid of the moment. I just love the execution down the end. I mean, they got the shots they wanted. They competed on defense, and they kept their cool in overtime. So shout out to those guys.
All right, so those were the those are the games yesterday. By the way, let's talk more about Shaheen Holloway. There were some reports yesterday that maybe Kevin Willard is moving back into the territory of being the favorite for the Maryland job. And then everybody then assumes that if that happens, that Seton Hall would just hire Shaheen Holloway because, like, of course they would. If you're Maryland, are you thinking at all about maybe whether Shaheen Holloway should be your guy?
You know what, man? I wouldn't. I would say maybe, but I'm pretty sure they're well along in the process of interviewing guys and hearing what's going on. I don't know if they even considered Shaheen before yesterday. I mean, if that was the case, then yeah. But I mean, you can tell Shaheen, he coaches those guys up the right way. And again, like I said, he had those guys executing late when it counted. You're talking about first round NCAA tournament. You're the underdog. You're against Kentucky, and they kept their composure. Those are attributes that I would love the next coach to have at College Park.
I loved how cool he was afterwards. Like, he didn't want to celebrate too much. He was like, dude, this is we should be beating Kentucky. Like, that's it. I trust me, I enjoy the emotions and guys that lose their minds and run across the court looking for somebody to hug. But I really kind of appreciated Shaheen Holloway. Like, the interview asked, like, were you nervous at all? He's like, about what? It's basketball. Like, I love that, man.
He acted like he belonged there.
Right.
Guys acting like they belong there. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it, but when the camera was cutting off, when the buzzer went off, a couple guys may have jumped up and celebrated, but he was yelling to his guys, come on,
yeah,
man.
go to the handshake line, right?
Let's go to handshake and let's get ready for the next game. So, not too big for the moment. I love it.
No, that was incredible, man. It was incredible to see. All right, so we got a busy slate. While you and I are down there, the early games today, Loyola, Illinois, Ohio State, Jacksonville State, Auburn, Montana State, Texas Tech, Yale, Purdue, Delaware, Villanova, Miami, USC. What's the game of that group that jumps out at you and says, this is the one I'm most looking forward to hanging out and watching today?
Well, I got Villanova winning it all the way in my bracket.
So do I.
Man,
there are a lot of people, like, the smart money appears to be on Delaware covering, and I don't like that at all. Like, I don't want to see a threat. I want to see Villanova waltz in, win by about 30 points, and make me feel comfortable about my pick for Villanova winning it all this year.
Right, yeah, for sure. Villanova, I want to see what those guys can do, man. Get a start to this. The games were exciting all day yesterday. And then you talk about, Loyola, Chicago. Those guys are primed for big-time basketball. So they are always a team you want to watch, a game you want to watch, because they're going to bring it every game. And Ohio State, I mean, they had a so-so year in the Big Ten this year, and they did really well against Maryland.
Yeah, well, they were falling apart down the stretch, man. Like,
but that's what I was getting ready to say, down the stretch. I mean, you got to look who's hot going into the tournament, which I thought which could mean two things. Carolina was hot going into the tournament. Yeah. They got a good win yesterday.
Yep.
But I thought Iowa was hot yesterday because they won the Big Ten tournament.
That's a good point.
So what do I know? But I know Loyola Chicago is going to be ready.
I know it hasn't been a great tournament for the Big Ten. I know that much. And with that in mind, Rodney, I'm going to do something today. My plan for betting, and Rodney and I had a mixed day betting last Sunday. We felt really good because we hit on the under on the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah.
We were high-fiving. And then I think I might have peer pressured Rodney into making another play afterwards. I kind of feel bad about it because you know how this goes, right? Like, you're a competitor. You know a thing or two about this.
Very true.
So you get a win, and you're like, I got to go win some more. And so the Celtics game was coming down the stretch, and they were up by like 3 points. I'm like, I think I'm going to go throw a couple bucks on the Celtics to cover. I think it was 1.5 or something like that. And then they didn't score another point the rest of the game.
And not only did they not do that, Luka did a great job managing the game and hit Dinwiddie for a buzzer beater. And then he did it again the next game, right behind that. So Dinwiddie went back-to-back buzzer beater.
That was frustrating. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm parlaying the first 4 games of the day, all right? I'm gonna throw in. Let me see if I just do the math right now. Let me see if I can figure out what it would cost me. So I'm gonna pick Loyola Chicago +1. Yeah, I might as well pick them to win outright, right? It's +1. I'm just gonna pick them to win outright. So I'm gonna pick Loyola Chicago to win outright. I'm gonna pick Auburn to cover 15.5 against Jacksonville State. I'm gonna pick Texas Tech. Texas Tech to cover 15.5 against Montana State. And I'm going to pick Yale to cover the 17 against Purdue. All right? That's a $20 parlay that would pay $263. How you feeling about that?
Ooh. I like all of that. But you say 17, though. So you're saying Purdue to cover. I mean,
no, I'm
Yale
saying Yale will stay within 17 of Purdue. Purdue has really
17.
struggled against pick and rolls this season. And if there's a team that we can count on to be disciplined, I would think we could count on Yale to be disciplined, correct?
Yeah, for sure. I like that thinking. I like that.
It sounds like you're
You know what?
tepid.
I like that parlay.
All right.
I'm going to get there early, man, and do a little bit more research. But you didn't steer me well in the first bet last week.
I did. Look, I'm just throwing this out there. This isn't going to be my only action today. This ain't going to be my only action today. But it's a $20 parlay that could pay $263. And I think it's reasonable, and we're going to watch all these games together, and you can watch my heart break as Ohio State beats Loyola Chicago at the buzzer and ruins it on the first game of the day. You can watch that. Oh, boy. It's going to be a fun day, though, man. I'm really looking forward. We had a good crowd for last Sunday. I'm expecting today to be an utter mob scene.
Yeah. It should be nice. The weather's nice, so folks, March Madness, so let's see if they can take a break from playing on crap tables and stuff like that and come join us. So come on out, guys. If you're in the area, come on out. Check us out. We're going to have a good time. Got some giveaways and everything. Don't we, Glenn?
Yeah, we do. We'll have great giveaways. We were all fascinated by the cups that change color when you put liquid in them last week. Like, we were all,
Very true.
Whoa.
Very true.
I felt like quite a rube. The much attention that we were giving those things when we were hanging out. Like, wow, they changed color. Like I was a 4-year-old as I was watching it. Yeah, we're going to have a great day. We'll be hanging out in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. And Rodney will give you some advice. You got some questions. You got some things you want to talk about. He and I will help you out with that as well. Rod, love you, man. Looking forward to seeing you there this afternoon. Thanks for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning.
No worries. I'll see you in a few.
All right, buddy. Rodney Elliott, former Terps and Dunbar star, checking in with us. When we come back in, scheduled to be joined by, once again, a Baltimore Raven, Michael Pierce. That's next. It's a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Sports fans, the wait is over. The all-new Fanduel Sportsbook is now open at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. This is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
The newest edition of PressBox is available now. On the cover, we celebrate the 20th anniversary of Maryland men's basketball's 2002 NCAA Tournament Championship, as Gary Williams reflects on how the program rose from the ashes of NCAA sanctions to the pinnacle of the sport, and why his perspective of the title run has changed now 2 decades later. Plus, Juan Dixon, Lonnie Baxter, and the rest of the team relive the moments that ultimately led them to cutting down the nets in Atlanta. PressBox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farms stores. And you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
Answering Baltimore's calls for help, running in when others run away, working together toward one shared vision for a thriving city. That's your Baltimore Police. But the department needs more good people. People like you. Join a proud new generation of Baltimore Police and make an active difference in your community. Start with competitive wages and excellent benefits on day one. Join for good at bpdrecruit.org.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The biggest pro wrestling stars today and all time all have one thing in common. You've heard them on Jobbing Out.
Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks.
Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
The great Kurt Angle.
Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Matt Riddle.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man.
The champ, Drew McIntyre.
Oh, thank you for having me.
The great Ron Simmons.
Damn.
Keith Lee.
Appreciate you guys having me, man.
Bill Goldberg.
My pleasure.
Charlotte.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mick Foley is with us.
This is the greatest name for a wrestling show I've ever heard.
MJF.
I'm glad you're happy I'm on this show because I'm freaking miserable.
Le
champion.
Chris Jericho.
Le champion.
AJ, Aaron, Brandon, and Glenn are talking pro wrestling every week on Jobbing Out. Find it at PressBoxOnline.com/radio, iTunes, and SoundCloud.
Stay tuned. Your chance to win $1 million is coming up. Probably not from us. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio.
All right, back in here on GCR. Well, as you know, I sometimes feign as though I'm a journalist, and so this is kind of difficult because I can't help but be biased. Those of you that have listened to the show for a long time, you know the affinity that I have for our next guest, and he's someone who's always been good to us, and even after he left Baltimore, he would still check in with us. In fact, he was on with us. I think about it frequently. The morning after Mo Gabba passed away, and a day that was very emotional for all of us. I can't lie, right? I can't try to be impartial about this. I'm over the moon that he is back as a Baltimore Raven. He is, of course, Michael Pierce, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Mike, it's Glenn back in Baltimore. It is so good to chat with you again, man. Thank you for taking the time for us, and congratulations on coming back to Baltimore.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, man. You guys are one of my favorites as well, and I appreciate the sentiment, but more importantly, man, it's good to come back home.
Bro,
it's so good to come back
It's
home.
so surreal, dude. It's so surreal that it works out this way for you. When did you know, things weren't going to continue in Minnesota? Like, did they let you know ahead of time? And when did you have a feeling that maybe this could work out, that you could end up back here in Baltimore?
So I kind of, this is going to be a little bit of breaking news. I kind of initiated it myself.
Okay.
So when they brought the new staff in, they were going to change the system. Obviously, when I came there to play for Coach Andre Patterson, who does a great job with nose guards and, letting them rush the passer and getting sacks. So, Coach O'Donnell and all those guys are awesome. But before I got to meet with them or anything, I kind of just, reached out to the new GM and asked them kind of, what the situation was. So they didn't really do too much. They tried to get a trade. It was kind of, short timing, especially with a new GM. Long story short, we had some negotiations on the contract, a decrease in my contract on Monday, but I just ended up asking for my release.
Wow. Did you have any thought when you did that like, hey, I got some friends on the other side of the country that, like, might be in. Was there any thought that maybe the Ravens would be in play if you did that?
No.
Okay.
This is kind of my first time. I hit free agency, and I just kind of went with it the first time. I didn't expect any of this time, so I didn't know what kind of cap space or what the deal may be with the market. My agent had a pretty good idea of, potential landing spots, but he mentioned Baltimore, and I was just like, there's no way on God's green earth this is going to happen. So, I didn't want to get too excited, but Mr. DaCosta and them kind of reached out pretty early. And like I told my agent, if there's any way I can get back home, that's where I want to be.
Wow,
so,
man. Wow.
I'm grateful that we got it done.
Michael, why? Obviously the dumb guy sentiment is you got relationships, you got friendships here, but that alone only goes so far. You had relationships, you had friendships here, and when it was time to move on, you went to Minnesota. Why did it mean so much to you to want to be back in Baltimore at this point in your career?
So I just relay it back to, like, a lot of guys that we've had that's had success early on in their careers, they go on and chase big money and all that stuff. But every time you hear them say, it's something special about Baltimore, the brotherhood, the people in the building, the feel around the city is different. When you're young and obviously you only play this game for so long, you owe it to yourself as a person, as a player. I'm going to have a family and all this stuff.
to go and, secure those funds. But when you live in these other places and you live in these and you deal with every different kind of situations in different buildings, like I said, that culture, our culture is very unique. And that's something a lot of guys miss. And like you said, we've seen Albert McCullen come back after he went to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Pernell McPhee left and came back.
Yep.
TJ just came back, even though he was a free agent. We've seen a lot of guys come back and happily come back. So, like I said, it was a no-brainer for me. Like I told y'all, I think last year, even though I was hurt, I was on the show the year before. I still watched us every game I could, especially the year I set out for COVID. So, no, man, it's just an affinity. And like I said, I played my best ball there. Unfortunately, I got hurt last year, but it's a culture that I love. And, we win here and we play great defense. And as a nose guard, you should not ask for anything more than that.
You got me ready to go run through a wall right now. You got me all fired up. Michael Pierce with us here on GCR. He's back in Baltimore. Michael, did you get to know? I know Mike McDonald was working with the linebackers and was working before that. Like, did you get to know him at all when he was here before and you were here with him? And did you have much of a relationship? Did you think about that at all as he's taken over now as defensive coordinator?
I was kind of laughing with him yesterday. We were all cool. I know Drew's gone. That was my guy with the D-line.
Yep.
But, the linebackers room and the D-line room are right across from each other. And Wink, when he was there, kept everybody pretty much together in meetings. And so, man, Mike was young coming up, but he was hungry, man. He did a great job. And I know they got Zach there now. Like I said, even Zach came back.
That's a great point, right? That's a really good point.
Yeah, man. We got a ton of people who, like I said, it's a unique culture. I can't speak for the 30 other teams that I have not played for.
Right.
I believe, the guys who do come back, it's for a reason. Sometimes they take pay cuts. So, like I said, man, Mike McDonald's awesome. I watched him a lot at Michigan last year, and the success they had with turning around the defense. And, they're going to have Aiden Hutchinson getting drafted, Lord knows when.
Probably number one, right?
Right, so I just don't know. But, no, man, he did an amazing job with Coach Hart's brother. So, no, man, I'm excited. And like I said, he's a young guy, has a lot of energy. And, he's like I grew up in that, system and, in his heritage, he did the same thing.
Do you find yourself saying, like Michael now, you're a couple years more, older, let's be honest about it. That's the way it works. Do you find yourself thinking like, I might like to be here for the rest of my career now? Is that part of the thought when you come back to a place like Baltimore?
Definitely. Like I said, I turned 30 this year. All things going well. I stay healthy. I'm going to play these last 3 years out in Baltimore, and I'm going to go home, man. So that's definitely, like I said, I'm big into believing in Christ, and it's funny how God lets things come full circle. I didn't have a press conference when I first came in as an undrafted rookie.
Now you get to, right.
And here soon I'll have a press conference.
You get to have your moment. You get to.
No. It's never about that. It's just about.
Oh, that's cool. We can
acknowledge how things come full circle.
That's a cool thing, right?
It's pretty cool.
That's
definitely pretty cool.
That's really, really cool, man. We're excited about that today. Michael Pierce is with us here on GCR. Mike, you referenced the injury a year ago. We know because remember we talked to you about needing to opt out because you dealt with asthma the year before. I know you got back on the field. How are you feeling health-wise? What was it like going through? I imagine it had to be tough on you after not playing the year before, sort of going through something like that this season.
Yeah, it was tough mentally, man. Like I said, I think I played the first 4 games, toward the top part of my tricep. It didn't need surgery. They just told me it needed a lot of time. So that was very frustrating. I got off to a hot start. I had like 2 sacks in the first game and a ton of tackles, and I thought I was going to end up in the Pro Bowl at one point.
Yeah, right.
But, no, man, I got hurt, did the rehab process, came back, and still played really well at a really, really high level. So, no, man, it was rough. But, like I said, in this game, injuries do happen. That was the first time I actually got hurt and missed time, like a bunch of time. So, it was interesting to deal with. But in this game, injuries happen, and, at the end of the day, I always know my work will show for itself. So, unfortunately, it was just 8 games, but Obviously, Coach Harbs and everybody around the league has watched the film, and
Yeah, they know.
they saw that I was still playing really well when I was healthy.
I want to ask about that because it's one of the things I think jumped off the page. Of course, we have always thought of you as being that tough run stopper and what you and Big Baby would do up front. And we saw something a year ago that you were maybe even more impactful getting after quarterbacks. You referenced the 3 sacks, and that's just in half a season, like that's pretty noteworthy. Was there something that changed about your game? Was it just a unique opportunity that you had that you were maybe more impactful as a pass rusher? Do you feel like there's more of that maybe you can do that perhaps we didn't even get to see all of during your first go-around here in Baltimore?
Yeah, it's definitely, obviously, being a run stopper is what I've been known for. But it's just growth and maturity and trusting a different part of my game. It was a different scheme. Obviously, we have a 3-4 in Baltimore, but they do a lot of 4-3. They do straight 4-3 stuff in here in Minneapolis. So now it's just different opportunities. The D-line coach, who's actually with Wink now in New York, Coach Andre Patterson, did an amazing job with me, man. He believed in my abilities, and he just kind of turned me loose. So we've had amazing pass rushers. So when I was there, Z.
Sure.
At inside of the technique, and we had Brent Urban and Lawrence Guy coming in as an undrafted rookie from Stanford. I focused on what I could do. So stopping the run was my thing, but I had more opportunities here. I had a bigger responsibility, obviously, being a higher paid guy. So no, man, it's just something I continue to work on, and I hit home a couple times, but no, that's something I definitely want to make sure I showcase next year. That I can obviously also affect the passer. So no, that's something we're gonna talk about when I get in the building, and hopefully I get those opportunities. But until then, we just gotta put the work in.
I feel you, bro. Best text or best phone call you got over the last couple of days? Maybe from somebody you hadn't heard from in a little while. Maybe somebody that just called and started yelling into the phone. Whatever it was. What was the one that you loved the most?
So actually, before my deal got done, CoCap texted, DM'd me on IG.
God, he's the best.
And said, we need you to come home, man. And we were actually in negotiations at that time, and I just told him I was trying, but nah, man, especially undrafted guys, and just seeing how Anthony Levine went from Green Bay to here and just became a staple in our culture. It's awesome for guys like that to reach out to me. He's like a big brother to me. So that meant a lot. And like I said, I told him if there was any way I could get it done, I definitely would. So now when he sent me that, I was like, let's get this crap over with, man.
Wow.
I'm ready to go.
Wow. That's dope.
No, man, that was big for me.
That's dope, man. I try to explain to people, I've had Anthony and I have been good for a long time, man. Like, he's one of my favorites. He did lie to me, though, technically. Like, he was on with me literally 2 days before he announced that he was retiring, and I was like, hey, bro, you thinking about it at all? And, I worded it just the right way. He said, no, I'm planning on being back with the Ravens next year. And technically, he's like, I didn't lie to you. I didn't lie to you about it because he's back. What do you think about him making that jump into coaching now? And can you explain to people just how important? Yeah, man, that's
news to me.
Yeah, he's going that route. He's going that route now, moving forward. He's on staff, sticking around after he's retired.
Oh, great.
Yeah, right.
Great. No, I've had a long week, so it's some news that I missed out on. But no, that's awesome, man. Chris Horton, former player, Zach, obviously due to his injury, back in the building. But no, anytime you can have those guys who've been in those trenches, had those experiences, but also had the knowledge of a coach. I don't know which role he's going to be in, but I'm sure he's going to mentor DBs, safeties, and special teams in some capacity. That's invaluable, man. That's invaluable.
I try to explain to people how much he means to everybody. I've spent the last few years
I
trying
don't think they can understand.
No.
Like, you just have to be there, and like I said, that is a staple, especially in Baltimore special teams. You think Albert McClellan, obviously the Wolfpack when they were together, and CoCap is, he's probably the most special teamer in my time. I know we had Jacoby and all those guys, but that's for my 4 years. He ran that room, and he just did an amazing job.
All right, let's get caught up on you, right? You mentioned family. You mentioned all those things. Where are you at now? It's been a little while. Where are you at in life? How have things changed for you personally since you were here in Baltimore?
A lot, man. A lot has changed. A lot of personal discovery with a year to myself and just working out in the gym and walking around Whole Foods for a year, trying to pick out healthy food and all that stuff. But long story short, man, I just progressed, and as time gets older, you mature. You understand a lot of things differently. Like I said, working on starting a family. I'll have some news when I get to the press conference.
All right.
Don't want to ruin that.
All right.
But we just taking care of business and trying to enjoy life, man. So I've been able to do a lot of different things for my family, a lot of different things in my community, and like I said, charity's always been a big thing of mine.
Yep.
And obviously it's big with the Ravens. I talked to Jamil McClain today,
I love
yesterday.
him.
So
Man.
gonna get back in the community in Baltimore. It's gonna be like I never left. But no, man, I'm just looking forward to getting back home, rekindling those relationships. I can't wait to see Miss Val in the front office.
Yes.
That's my lady.
Yep.
I still texted her all the time, like even when I sat out and last year. So no, man, it's just enjoying this journey and staying busy.
That's
staying
awesome,
busy
man.
on improving my game and no, man, it's not too much. I'm gonna break some news next week, but
Okay.
no, man, it's been an amazing journey, and like I said, for me to be able to come here and try to finish out the rest of my years here and excel and obviously win. That's the
that's the last part, right?
That's the great part.
That's the one thing that's left for you now. You go in a Super Bowl, right? Like that's the thing.
Indeed.
That's the thing. Man, I love Jamil and Keisha. They are the best too, man. They're all good people. Michael Pierce, dude, we're so happy for you. Grateful that you took a couple minutes for us. I know it's busy right now with the press conference coming up. Thank you for doing it. And as you know, anything you got going on, please let us know. We'll be happy to push and help any way we can with what you got going on because you've been one of the best people that we've gotten to know over the years. Thank you, as always, for taking the time for us. Congratulations, and look forward to seeing you more frequently here in the coming weeks and months, all right?
Yes, sir, brother. Appreciate the sentiments. Y'all have a blessing.
That's Michael Pierce. He's back with the Baltimore Ravens. And truly is look, man, I could try to lie to you and be like, I'm not impartial. I've gotten to know Michael Pierce over the years. He's one of the best humans that I've come across in this organization. And that's a long list, right? Like, there's a lot of really good humans that I've gotten to know. Michael Pierce is extraordinarily high on that list, and I'm excited about him being back. Very excited about, seeing him maybe having more of a push. And in his point about, like, I was playing on a 4-3 last year. We do things a little bit differently. It's what I always talked about with Brandon Williams. Like, you guys are trying to measure him against people that are doing other things. Mm-hmm. That's not his job here. But if Brandon Williams is gone, presumably Michael Pierce is going to be asked to do a lot of things that Brandon Williams was doing.
Yeah.
And we all saw the impact of when Brandon Williams was on the field versus when he was off the field in terms of
every year.
I mean, it like clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
If he plays, they're going to be pretty good against the run. If he doesn't, they're going to get gashed.
Yeah.
Michael Pierce presumably is going to be asked to do a lot of those things with Brandon Williams likely to be gone. It's not done yet. There's still certainly a possibility that Brandon Williams could end up back in Baltimore, and the number could be quite pleasant for the Ravens, and he's happy to be here too, right? But it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the Baltimore Ravens to have Michael Pierce back, and it's a good thing for the city of Baltimore to have Michael Pierce back. I'm really excited about that.
Agreed.
All right. We got one more break to get to, right?
Yes, sir.
So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll do Young Yutes, Tidbit, Tubular, and then Chris Hinton. Speaking of defensive linemen, Michigan defensive lineman, guy that's going to go pretty early in the NFL draft. We'll talk to him as he is the son of former Baltimore Colt Chris Hinton as well. Today's show also brought to you by the Baltimore Police Department, and you can join a proud new generation of Baltimore police and make an active difference in your community. Start with competitive wages and excellent benefits on day one. Join for good, bpdrecruit.org. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Sports fans, the wait is over. The all-new Fanduel Sportsbook is now open at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. This is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Glory Days Grill's St. Patrick's menu is now in full swing, and it's their most popular seasonal menu all year. New in 2022 are their smoky thigh wings with Guinness grilling sauce, a house-made Guinness barbecue sauce. Fan favorites also include their corned beef and cabbage, the shepherd's pie with Guinness braised ground beef, the Glory Days Reuben, and the Rachel. Enjoy a pint of Guinness or Guinness Baltimore Blonde. The St. Patrick's menu is available for the whole month of March. Come in for great food, cold beer, and basketball. Find out more about Glory Days Grill and get your order in online at glorydaysgrill.com.
The newest edition of PressBox is available now. On the cover, we celebrate the 20th anniversary of Maryland men's basketball's 2002 NCAA Tournament Championship, as Gary Williams reflects on how the program rose from the ashes of NCAA sanctions to the pinnacle of the sport, and why his perspective of the title run has changed now 2 decades later. Plus, Juan Dixon, Lonnie Baxter, and the rest of the team relive the moments that ultimately led them to cutting down the nets in Atlanta. PressBox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farms stores. And you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
The Toyota Tacoma comes in a wide range of models and trim lines. You can choose the perfect Toyota to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
If you miss anything, don't forget that you can find whole shows later on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon Podcasts. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue on and winding down. Again, if you weren't with us at the beginning, we are doing a 9 to 11 show today, so I got to get going, get down to the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Today's show is brought to you by Simply the Bets. Every Tuesday morning, 11:40 a.m., Simply the Bets. Bruce Billick, the Fanduel Sportsbook GM at Live Casino and Hotel, and Aaron Oster from VEASAN join us to help us win some money during the course of the week. And also every other Thursday at 11:40 a.m., Weekend at Bookies. It's all brought to you by the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Thanks again to Michael Pierce. Now we do this. Oh, God, I blame the allergies. It's time for Young Utes. Young Utes brought to you today by Underdog Fantasy Football. If you're not playing, you sure as hell should be. Basketball, hockey contests, baseball coming. And, yes, you can bet now in the state of Maryland, but you can't bet on your phone or your computer. But you can feel like you're betting when you play Underdog Fantasy Football with player props, parlays, everything along those lines. UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog app. When you make your first deposit, we'll match it up to $100 with free money for you to play with when you use the code PressBox at Underdog Fantasy Football. So you don't have to worry about being judged today because Cass is on spring break. So
I'm judging him.
Oh, yeah. What do you know about the young people, though? What do you?
I work with a lot of young people.
All right, well, fine. We'll let Paul attempt to judge.
In general, I'm judging him.
Fair enough. What do you got?
So Pete Davidson.
I mean, I'm gonna guess is whenever you say the name Pete Davidson, it seems like the answer is
mentions him every week.
That's all the young Utes care about.
He's actually in 2 of them today. So
Jesus Christ, maybe we should combine all the Pete Davidson stuff into one each week. We got to slow down on this guy.
So did you guys see his exchange with Kanye West?
It was a week ago. I definitely saw that.
So he pretty much texted Kanye West, "Can you please take a second and calm down? It's 8 a.m. It don't got to be like this. Kim is the best mother I've ever met. What she does for those kids is amazing, and you're lucky that she's your kid's mom. I've decided I'm not going to let you treat us this way anymore, and I'm done being quiet. Grow the F up." And then he proceeds to send Kanye a photo of himself.
Yes. Kanye said, "Where are you right now?" And he said, "I'm in bed with your wife." And all he said was send a picture of himself with a shirt off. He didn't people were treating it as though it was lascivious in some way. Like it was
it's hilarious.
It's hilarious, but it's also. Is there a point that you're going to make, or are you just sharing that?
Oh no, I just thought I read this text. I was like,
so I actually had 2 thoughts about this entire exchange. The first one being there were a lot of really thoughtful things that Pete Davidson said within this text conversation about mental health and getting help, and I think we all know that Kanye West is a human that needs help, and so there's something to be said for Pete Davidson, who clearly is going to have to deal with this person being in his life if he's going to continue to date Kim Kardashian, because he's the father of Kim Kardashian's children. There's something to be said for Pete Davidson saying, "Look, dude, whatever. You want to make videos where you're mutilating me? That's fine. But there appears to be a bigger problem, and I'm someone who went through a lot of issues, and people know Pete Davidson's story. Lost his father at an extraordinarily young age on 9/11. Been through a lot of S in his life, and so I have some respect for Pete Davidson saying, I want to talk about these things. But he still was antagonizing within that, and that makes the 2 things conflated. There was a good message in there, and there's some hey, good for you stepping up and I need to do something here because you're going to have to be a part of our lives, and we have to make this work somehow. There's something about that's the way that you should be as an adult, as a human, as a man, whatever you want to say. But at the same time, the I'm in bed with your wife thing, dude, how are you going to try to help somebody get mental health while you're throwing barbs?
Yeah.
I'm not – I still think that there was more good in that than there was bad from Pete Davidson, but
it's a dude who's fed up.
I don't blame it. And that's the thing. I'm not mad at him for being pissed and being sick of all of it. I don't really know why it got shared on social media either. That's kind of –
apparently his
tacky.
His camp leaked it.
Right. And so
that's wanted to show haha.
That's tacky. You're having a personal conversation with somebody. Let it be a personal conversation with somebody who's trying to fix your life. Now, if what you're really trying to do is further show how truly unstable this person is because, I don't know, you want him to not be able to see Kim's kids or whatever. I don't know, man. There's a lot that's weird there. I hate that I'm talking about this so much because I don't really care about it. But there is something to be said. I know there was another issue this week related to Trevor Noah where Trevor Noah told a story. I stopped watching The Daily Show. I watched the first couple weeks of Trevor Noah and didn't think he was doing a good job. People have told me he's gotten much better. I've never really found him to be all that funny.
Neither have I.
But he apparently told a story this week about his own mother, being shot by an ex that was stalking her and obsessed with her. And he was like, I'm going to say something. We're all playing along because it's Kanye West, and he's sort of America's plaything in some weird way. We all can poke fun at him. We all we've never really dealt with it as a society because we kind of lifted him in this way that was above life almost. But I can't just sit back and watch this. You're watching a potential train wreck, and we need to say something. This is obsessive. This is stalking behavior. This is not okay for any man. And his point was, if Kanye West, whose every action is being showed to the public, can get away with it, then think about all of the men and women, all the relationships in the world where nobody's watching it, nobody knows what's going on, and there's no hope for a woman to get away from it. So I appreciated that. And then, of course, Kanye West went at Trevor Noah on social media like a 3-year-old because that's what he does, and we reward content and engagement on social media as if it was when if you watched Inventing Anna, it was one of my big problems with it. We pretended like there was some value in the fact that this girl got people to look at a Instagram page of what she was wearing to court. Like there was value in that. There's no value there. She was a terrible human being. And we're giving her an effing reality. That I read about the people that made The Real World all those years ago, Bonham and Murray. They have signed a deal with her to produce a show about her life after jail. She's profiting off of her crimes because we've lost the concept of what is valuable and what isn't. And Kanye West shooting off about Trevor Noah, who makes an incredibly good point about his mother who was shot, ends up just being fodder for Kanye West to get engagement and be praised in a society where we have lost hope for what is actually valuable and what isn't. And I know I'm an old man yelling at a cloud. I know that it's over and you just don't get the way the world works, but we have to say something about how effed this is. We have to hope. If there's any lesson, look, I got Jordan working on social media stuff because I get it. We have to try to chase social media, but not just doing it for this. When are we going to just start going out and shooting people and then posting the videos because we know it's shocking and they'll get views on social media if we do that? How far away are we? We have lost our minds because we think that all that actually matters is engagement numbers instead of the actual content that's getting the engagement. And the ability to say, no, this person does not deserve credit for getting engagement for threatening someone. We should all, every single one of us, whatever level of fandom you are, be able to step up and say, stop it. Sorry, I don't mean to grandstand. I apologize. I don't really care about Kanye. God damn it, I hate this. I don't really care about Kanye West and Pete Davidson. I really care about how lost we are as a society.
Fair.
I care deeply about that. The Inventing Anna thing really turned me off. Like, really turned me off. It was bad to begin with, and it became completely irredeemable. It's one of the worst things that's happened because it presented a story in which it mattered that she got people to believe in her. The hell with the consequences. The hell with any of that. They painted the person that went to the police as being a villain in the story. We're effed. We're effed. We have no hope as a society. We have lost our minds. Sorry, Jordan.
You're good.
Number 2.
Nick Cage wants to star opposite.
Do
Robert
the young
Pattinson.
Utes care about Nicolas Cage?
There's no way.
They care about the Batman movie, and they're going to make a sequel where Nick Cage plays Eggman.
Like, that's actually happening?
Egghead, not Eggman.
Like, that's a real thing?
He said
Or he just wants to?
He said if Warner Bros. Called him today and asked,
I mean, my
he'd
God.
say yes.
Sure he would. If you called Nick Cage and said, I got 3 warm sandwiches for you, what else is he doing? Like, we're pretending like that means something.
Fair.
Gone in 90 seconds.
Have you seen the movies that Nicolas Cage has made in recent years? Like, he will just make anything at this point. Like, my God, that was the entire bit that Andy Samberg did on SNL, the Get in the Cage segment. He's like, I got a pitch for you. Everything was just starring me. Like, he would make any movie at all.
That's high praise.
Nick Cage saying that he wants to be Eggman, and he wants to be in every movie that might be made. There is no from Nick Cage. He's begging someone to care. Come on, man. Thinking that's news that Nick Cage wants to be in the Batman movie. He wants to be in every movie. He wants to be. If you and I made a documentary about Paul, he would want to be in it.
He'd want to play me.
I mean, my God.
Similar hairline. I mean,
you got that going for you. Like, it would be a terribly. I don't know what would be the climax of the movie about Paul. What would be the big scene?
Some woman agreeing to marry me.
Yeah, you got married. I guess you do have that going for you. Upset of the century. Oh, he's a good-looking chap. That's not that big of an upset. Get the hell. I don't know what the climax will be.
Just got to work on this personality next.
Whatever it is. The point being, Nick Cage would agree to be in any film whatsoever. There's nothing newsworthy about him wanting to be the Eggman or Egghead. What is it?
Egghead.
And number 3, more Pete Davidson.
Yes.
Great.
Pete Davidson is no longer a part of Blue Origin's next flight crew.
Oh, what the hell happened? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it was the flight, the launch date got delayed, so it doesn't work with his schedule anymore.
His busy schedule of doing what exactly?
So
Kim Kardashian.
I mean, fair, all right, but that was on the schedule, I think, beforehand.
Probably.
I mean, seriously.
Maybe her in space.
Yeah, no, he didn't really give any reason. He has said due to the flight being pushed back to March 29th, he now can't make it. That's just what he said.
I'm gonna guess they'll try to figure out a way to get him on another flight because they got a ton of publicity out of that. That's more valuable than when they put William Shatner up there. That's more valuable when they put Michael Strahan up there. They got a boatload of publicity out of Pete Davidson going into space. All right, Lil'Jordan, thank you. That was Young Yutes. We do it every Friday. Let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you today by the Pressbox print issue, which is available right now. Celebrates the 20th anniversary of Maryland men's basketball winning the national championship. Gary Williams is on the cover. Go pick it up for free right now at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox, or read it all, PressBoxOnline.com.
All right, amazingly, we haven't talked about this today. Davante Adams is headed
very briefly.
Is headed to Las Vegas to play with his former college quarterback Derek Carr. On Thursday night, the Packers traded Adams to the Raiders for this year's first and second round draft picks, leaving Aaron Rodgers without a safety net before the ink has even dried on his new contract. Though it has been reported that Rodgers knew Adams was on his way out before he signed.
This is weird. Everything about this is weird, right?
Yeah.
Like I know it's a lot. A first and second round picks a lot. I still feel like Davante Adams should be worth more than that.
He should be.
And I get the part of the problem is, like, you were going to have to sign him to this insane contract, too, and so who's really willing to do all three things?
Mm-hmm.
My answer back would be, I would be. I get the Ravens couldn't. They just genuinely don't have the money to do it, but, like, would I? It's Davante Adams we're talking about, man. Like, yeah. I know what the Titans paid for Julio Jones a year ago. Davante Adams, in the unquestionable prime of his career, I would think probably worth multiple first-round picks or a first and a second and a fourth, like anything that I was stunned that it was just a first and a second for Davante Adams.
Me too. Well, upon being traded, Adams promptly agreed to a 5-year, $141.25 million extension, making him the highest-paid non-quarterback in football. In 3 of the last 4 seasons, Adams has tallied at least 111 receptions, 1,374 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Did you know the Raiders have not had a 1,300-yard receiver since Tim Brown in 1999? They have not had a receiver record 11 touchdowns in a season since Tim Brown in 2000. They have never had a receiver catch as many as 111 balls in a season. Certainly seems like Adams is worth the high price tag.
And you're in the most brutal division in the history of football, so you got to. I mean, this is murderer's row right now that we're talking about in the AFC. This is insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. Speaking of his high price tag, as mentioned earlier, Adams is now the highest paid non-quarterback in football based on average annual value. He is one of 5 non-quarterbacks making an average annual value of at least $25 million in 2022. Who are the other 4?
Aaron Donald?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Then it is a bargain. Whatever they got him at, they have him at a bargain. So
Watt? No.
TJ Watt. 28.
Oh, right.
He's number 2 on the list.
28,220,000.
2,720.
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins is number 3, $27.5 million. These other 2 guys, I get it, but it surprised me.
Get it, but it surprises you. You get it, but it surprises you. You get it, but it surprises you.
Do you want a small hint?
No, hang on.
Dalvin?
No.
Myles Garrett?
Myles Garrett, number 5, $25 million.
Doesn't surprise me. And Travis Kelce?
No.
I don't even remember what his deal was.
He is not an offensive player.
He's not an offensive player. Joey Bosa?
Joey Bosa,
Okay.
number 4, $27 million.
You know, those really surprised me all that much, if I'm being honest.
They surprise me because they're not the type of guys that you generally you look at like left tackles, you look at
I think
wide
edge
receivers.
rushers. This is why I feel the way I do about the front seven. I think edge rushers are that significant. Like guys that can actually get quarterbacks on the ground, disrupt plays, create turnovers. Like I'd pay them more than everybody else has been paying them myself. That's the route that I would go. All right, good stuff. That was Tidbit. Tubular is brought to you today. Actually, it's just a reminder that you need to know the risks and have a plan. We're encouraging you to get down to the Fanduel Sportsbook, but it also is really important. Have a plan before you start gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org. Here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise. Again, a busy day 2 of the NCAA Tournament. Quickly, the schedule. CBS, Loyola Chicago, Ohio State, 12:15. Then Delaware, Villanova, Cal State, Fullerton, Duke, and Davidson, Michigan State. True TV starts at 12:40. Jacksonville State, Auburn. Then Miami, USC, Wright State, Arizona, TCU, Seton Hall. TNT starts at 1:45. Montana State, Texas Tech, Notre Dame, Alabama, Chattanooga, Illinois, UAB, Houston. And TBS starts at 2. Yale, Purdue, Virginia Tech, Texas, Iowa State, LSU, Colgate, Wisconsin. I got an upset special on Colgate tonight. I like their chances. As far as elsewhere tonight, Maryland women at home against Delaware in the first round of the NCAA Tournament. That's at 5 on ESPNU. Navy Johns Hopkins lacrosse at 7 on ESPN3. The Mustang Classic is underway at Stevenson University tonight. Dickinson takes on the Mustangs at 8:30. Go Mustangsports.tv. Towson at home in the WNIT against Old Dominion at 7. You can watch it on YouTube. Tomorrow, the NCAA Tournament games are now scheduled. If you want to know, CBS, North Carolina, Baylor at 12:10. Then Creighton, Kansas, Michigan, Tennessee, and St. Peter's, Murray State. TBS tomorrow night, St. Mary's, UCLA at 7:10, Memphis, Gonzaga at 9:40, TNT for Richmond, Providence at 6:10, New Mexico State, Arkansas at 8:40. By the way, Mount St. Mary's women fell last night to Longwood, so they are out. Big Ten Network tomorrow at 3 for Maryland, Virginia lacrosse. That's a big one. Number 1 versus number 2 down in D.C. ESPN Plus for Bucknell, Loyola lacrosse at 1. And on Sunday, Rutgers, Maryland women's lacrosse at noon on ESPNU. Everything else, just go to glennclarkradio.com and find it there. Some non-sports highlights.
So today there is so many series and films that are Netflix originals premiering. So I'm not going to even get into them. Just go check them out somewhere. Lust, a Max original season 1 premiere on HBO Max. Prime Video Master, it's an Amazon original that premieres tonight. Tomorrow, there's literally nothing. It's all basketball all day. And then on Sunday you have An Audience with Adele at 9 o'clock on NBC. The Walking Dead at 9 and Talking Dead at 10 on AMC. HBO, the only one that really matters, Winning Time, The Rise of the Los Angeles Lakers Dynasty at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's a tough weekend because I'll be watching basketball all weekend, but I do want to squeeze in Mrs. Maisel at some point, and I do want to squeeze in.
It's over.
What do you mean it's over?
The series finale was last week.
That was it?
Yeah. Because I looked it up last night. The series finale was last week. It was a 2-parter.
That was it? That was how they ended the season?
Yeah, 8 episodes.
That's really weird, man. That is really, really a weird way. I mean, it was big. I mean, are you caught up?
No, I started a new show that I highly recommend.
Quickly, because we gotta go.
The Pieces of Her.
What is that?
On Netflix.
What is it?
It's a show about a mom who.
Wow, that really was the end of the season.
Ashley Simpson.
Not bad. The time she did a hoedown on SNL.
She has like a mysterious past that then gets brought out in like a crime, and that's all I'm gonna give you. But it's really good on Netflix. 8 episodes, 1 season, just came out. I finished like 4 episodes in one night. Highly recommend.
Right. I guess with Mrs. Maisel being over, it might be time for me to finally dig in on Euphoria. Might be time for me to finally.
It's a good show. It's a tough one.
I hear you. Might be that time. All right, very good. Okay, thanks today to everything else. Go to glennclarkradio.com and find it there. Everything else, right, I already said that part. I'm a broken record. I blame the allergies. Thanks today to Rodney Elliott. Thanks to Michael Pierce, and thanks to Chris Hinton, who you're about to hear from. We'll get it all up for you in the greatest hits section of the
Archives
tab at glennclarkradio.com. On the Bat Around tomorrow.
Tomorrow we are going to have Jeff Arnold, Orioles radio play-by-play man. He's going to be on a 10:20. Stands pushed back to 10:45, and we might have Raul Ramos. He is a little bit under the weather, so I got to check in with him today and see if he can do it.
He's been busy this week. All right, very good. That's tomorrow, 10 to noon. Those guys talking baseball, Paul and Zach, every Saturday. Of course, we'll be back on Monday. Jeremy Kahn will join us and stuff and things. Thanks, everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Glory Days Grill, Royal Farms, the Baltimore Police Department, Grade 8's Memorabilia, Live Casino and Hotel, the Fanduel Sportsbook, Underdog Fantasy Football, Blue Line K9, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Paul. Follow him on Twitter at Paul Valley III. Jordan, where can people follow you?
Twitter, SchwartzbergJS, and Instagram, JSchwartzberg1.
Thanks to him. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great weekend. Go Maryland women. Go local lacrosse teams. Duke sucks. Ohio State sucks too. We wrap up today's show. A conversation we had to have a little bit earlier on. Young man who's going to hear his name called very earlier in the draft and has a unique connection to Baltimore because of his father, Chris Hinton from Michigan, to wrap us up for the week here on GCR. And joined now here on Glenn Clark Radio by one of the top defensive line prospects in this year's NFL draft, and very interestingly, a young man who has kind of a connection to us here in Baltimore, as his dad began his NFL career very briefly here in Baltimore with the Colts. It's a pleasure to welcome in from the University of Michigan, Chris Hinton, who's with us on GCR. Chris, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. All right, so when I reference your dad having a history in Baltimore, does that resonate with you in any way? It was such a short amount of time, and it was before you were ever born.
Yeah, it was so way before my time. He always talks about his time in Baltimore and the whole deal from Baltimore to Indianapolis. So it was definitely a piece of me and a piece of my family's history.
So that could be kind of a neat story for it to work. I know, look, man, you got 32 teams that you want to play for right now. I understand that, but it would be kind of a neat story if it happened to work out that way, that it was Baltimore.
Yeah, it would be cool, and then some familiar faces with Coach Mack over there.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that for sure. Hey, take me back before, obviously growing up the son of a damn good football player. Your father was incredible. Did you always know that football was the path that you wanted to go, or when did it click for you that you wanted to sort of follow in his footsteps?
Yeah, honestly, growing up, I wanted to be a basketball player.
Kind of like your mom, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, sir. Growing up, I was a pretty good basketball player at my young age. And, just being 6'4", I would have to be a point guard. So I was like, all right, let me make a business decision and take this football thing serious. So going into my sophomore year in high school, I always played both sports and fell in love with both sports. And going into sophomore year in high school, I stopped playing AAU and started training for football. So.
Was there a particular reason why it happened that way for you? Was there something that just occurred that made it click that was the route?
I mean, yeah, just being a 6'4" center, I knew that there wasn't.
It probably wasn't. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it doesn't. You don't really get many shots in the NBA anymore. Exactly. The Charles Barkley era is over. I think.
It's over. Yeah, yes, sir. So I had to make that business decision, but I love football. I'm happy. Obviously, it's working out for me, and obviously, I want to be up there with my pops and have the same type of legacy that he had in the league.
So, as we referenced, your mom also played basketball in college. With two athletes as parents, give me the idea. What's the best things that you learn, and you're still learning from them as you've sort of worked your way towards your own professional, sports career?
Both of them being super successful in their fields, in basketball and football and off the field. And off the court, one of the things that I learned the most is hard work will get you, will just give you a shot at what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put the work in every day, and also you can't be complacent, because the second you're complacent, you got someone else in a different gym or a different field working harder than you at their goals, and then it's just competition. So the two things is hard work and never be complacent, and those are the two things that I keep with me every day, whether it's with football, whether it's with school, or whether it's with anything I want to accomplish outside of sports.
Is it ever intimidating, when your parents are so successful? Is there ever a moment where you're like, man, it's tough to live up to this? Do you ever deal with any of that?
I'm gonna be honest. Both my parents did a great job of never putting their success and their accomplishments on me at all. It wasn't until it was funny. So when 30 for 30 did that thing on my dad, I was about in like 6th grade or 7th grade or so, and I didn't really until then. I never really understood how good he was. you know?
Wow.
So that pays dividends to him and his humbleness and not putting his goals and his success onto my brother or myself. And also he's had talks with me like before high school, like, this football thing, like it gets serious and it's very time consuming. Like, I'm never going to force you to play football. I'm never going to force you to do anything.
That's great.
I was like, Pops, I love football. I love this. I want to do this. He said, okay, bet. Here we go. I'm always going to be here for you. I'm never going to, be on you like that. But, just know I'm always going to be here for you. And I'm very appreciative of both of them for always being there for me whenever I need it.
That's awesome, man. By the way, you're making me feel old. The morning after that 30 for 30 aired, your dad actually called into my show to talk about it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, because
That's crazy.
It's funny because I feel like his story gets lost. In Baltimore, we talk a lot about John Elway, and it's a whole thing, man. I'm not going to bore you with all that. And I feel like his story gets lost of just how good he ended up being as a player in the process. John Elway turned out to be John Elway, but Chris Hinton was really good, man.
Exactly, yes sir, yes sir.
So it was cool to catch up with him, and you're making me feel old because I remember where I was when that 30 for 30 came out. Chris Hinton from Michigan is with us here on GCR. Chris, you mentioned obviously there's this Baltimore connection too because Mike McDonald ends up here. When he arrived last year, what did you know about him, and what made it work so well so quickly? Obviously, there's a ton of talent. We know that with you and David Ajabo and Dax Hill, and the list goes on and on and on. But, what made it click so quickly that you guys weren't just good, but, literally were one of the best defenses in all of football this season?
Yeah, it's crazy. Coach Mac's actually from, the same area where I'm from. He went to Centennial High School, which is down the street from where I grew up in. I have a sister who's around the same age, and they went to high school at the same time. They didn't know each other, but just crazy small world connection. But when Coach Mack came to the University of Michigan, we kind of could tell right away that it was going to be a different vibe. It was going to be a different season. He's a great leader, but he also let us lead the team. He let the leaders of the defense have our own vision of the defense.
Wow.
And kind of what we wanted to do this year. And he was kind of like that father figure, and in the sense of he's like, okay, y'all do this, and now when y'all steer to the right, I'm going to put you back on track. But it's going to be y'all's defense, and that's how we did the whole year. Throughout the meeting, he would ask us certain plays like, how do y'all see this play? How do y'all want to run X, Y, and Z? And then he'll put his own twist on it because, of course, he's a DC.
Yeah,
but,
of course, yeah.
Everyone really responded well to him. He was a young dude, can really relate to us. And he also put super, super great people around us as well on his staff. So just the energy he brought, the control that he let us have over the defense, along with him just being a great leader, that paid dividends to our success this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, clearly. It worked out all right for you guys this year. By the way, I can't believe I just named all those players. I didn't even mention Aiden, by the way.
I know.
My God, what a loaded defense you had.
Aiden is a beast.
Yeah, he's gonna be all right. I think he's gonna be
all right.
okay moving forward.
Yeah.
So it sounds like what you're saying, and we'll get to you as part of it, but it sounds like what you're saying is whether you're here or not, and we got to know, obviously, Coach Mack a little bit before, when he was here in Baltimore. But in taking over the role as defensive coordinator, we probably have a lot to look forward to here in Baltimore.
Yes, for sure. You ask anybody in this building, and they'll say the same thing. All the players in the Baltimore, they're gonna respond to Coach Mack really well. They're gonna love it. So.
Now, again, knowing that you're going to be just as excited because you can be a Cardinal as quickly as you can be a Raven, right? I understand that.
Right.
Does it make it particularly intriguing to you, the opportunity to reconnect with someone that clearly you were able to make it work with? Does it make you say to yourself, man, I might want to run a little bit faster when I get there for that meeting in Baltimore or something like that?
Yeah, no, it'll for sure be really cool to play for Coach Mack, but I'm just blessed to have this opportunity to play for any of the 32 teams out there. And I'm just really excited to have that chance to be really anywhere in the country and come in there and make a defense better.
I know that's true, man. I completely
Yes, sir.
understand.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Chris, tell me about you, the football player. What is it? Whoever it ends up being that calls your name, what are they getting? What is the ideal technique for you, do you think, at the next level? And what exactly are they getting in Chris Hinton, the football player?
Yeah, the teams are going to get a kid that's super physical at the point of attack. He's going to stop the run. He's going to be physical. He's also going to cause disruption in the run and the pass because I'm quick enough to get past guards that may not be as athletic, and I'm strong enough to push the pocket against guards that may not be as strong. And I'm also very versatile. I feel I can play anywhere amongst the inside of the defensive line. Even if they need me at 5 tech on the rundown, I feel I could play anything amongst the defensive line. So they're getting a versatile, smart, physical player.
I mean, it all sounds pretty good to me, dude. That all sounds like it's something that I want to sign up for. Do you feel like you can speak the language of Harbaugh a little bit better? Because, there's another connection there that we share with the folks out at Michigan. And I know that maybe Jim's a bit more unique and, insert whatever word you want to use here. But do you feel like you can sort of speak the language of Harbaugh better from these last few years?
Yeah, for sure. Coach Harbaugh, he's a guy that, he really cares about his players. You see that every day in this building, and it felt so good last year. Obviously, everybody wanted to win for the program.
Of course.
And that sort, but winning for Coach Harbaugh and just seeing him and all the doubters, being hushed because everybody got something to say about Coach Harbaugh. So being able to shut up all the doubters for Coach Harbaugh and things like that was just another piece of excitement and joy that all the players had this year.
Can you put into words what it was like for you guys to beat Ohio State? Like, can you, after everything y'all have been through?
Yeah, I honestly, you can't put that game into words.
Right.
Being Ohio State, really making that a pivotal piece of our program this past year. Just like it was like third quarter because obviously, we had a handle on the game all game, but you never want to be like, okay, we about to win this game. It was like the fourth quarter. I'm sitting on the bench and I'm talking to one of my teammates. I'm like, oh yeah, we just did it. Like, and it was crazy. It was snowing. They stormed the field after the game. I mean, it was the best game of the best, most fun, most memorable game of my career, hands down.
Oh, dude, it was wild.
Even more than the Big Ten championship.
It was, and I'm sure you guys would have liked to have won the national championship too. But up there, I got to imagine that's almost as good as winning a national championship.
Yeah, and hopefully we set a new standard for the program. Now we got a recent Big Ten championship, so there's things to be chased now. Another Big Ten championship, another playoff appearance, and a national championship. So hopefully we just set that new standard, a new level, in the Michigan building.
All right, so we're going to be forced to only disagree with you slightly because, of course, we want Maryland to have some success in the coming years. But it's an uphill battle.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, it's we're still trying to get people to acknowledge that Maryland has a football program in recent years.
It's all good. Maryland is a very respectable program.
It's nice of you to say that, Chris. Yes, it's nice of you. And we think that there are positive things that are happening there. It's just taken a minute.
Yes, sir.
Chris,
yes, sir.
when I say the words Baltimore Ravens defense to you, what comes to mind?
Man, first thing is aggressive. They're playing man-to-man darn near every play. They're bringing the pressure, different ways they bring pressure. They can bring it 4-man, 5-man. They can bring the house, but then they can show the pressure and then drop into coverage. They're very versatile, very multiple, and very aggressive. Playing in Coach Mack because we ran the same defense really at Michigan this past year, and I really loved every bit of it.
And obviously, there's a bit of a history of significance when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens and the defense.
Elite.
Yeah,
elite.
right. Might not
Very
be
elite. Yeah.
Might not be bad to follow in some of those footsteps. Might not be so bad.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Chris Hinton, man, it's great getting to know you. What can we plug for you? Twitter, Instagram, anywhere where people have been giving you a follow as you go through this path. I think people are really going to be. I don't know that a lot of people realize the history with you in our city and how cool it could be.
Yeah, you can follow me at VTHE Chris Hinton, just my name, same thing for Instagram and Twitter. It's the same handle.
Awesome. Give him a follow there. Chris, man, we're going to tell you the same thing we tell everybody. We're rooting for you. We're looking forward to see what happens. If it's Baltimore, man, we can't wait to get to know you better and see in purple. If it's Pittsburgh, we know you'll be happy. Please don't be offended by the things we say about you on Twitter. We promise it's not personal. We don't really mean it, all right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Chris, congratulations on everything so far. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes to chat with us this morning.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.